It is 6:01. Good morning. I'm Jonathan Schaefer. One up with 3 to play. That is the Titans' current situation heading into the home stretch of the regular season. Titans 9-5 lead the AFC South over the Indianapolis Colts by 1 game and also have the tiebreaker, but Tennessee has lost 3 of its last 4. It's unknown what type of an impact either or both A.J. Brown and Julio Jones will have tonight against the Niners. But the Titans will be without its starting left tackle and left guard. Taylor Lewan out due to a back injury. Roger Saffold is on the reserve COVID-19 list. League Company countdown to kickoff begins at 5 o'clock tonight. Kickoff is set for 7:20 with Mike Keith and Dave McGinnis. Indianapolis Colts lead the NFL with 7 selections for the Pro Bowl. Meanwhile, the Titans only have 1 in safety Kevin Byard. Neither defensive end Jeffrey Simmons or linebacker Harold Landry were selected. College basketball, great one last night, as you heard on the Zone. Number 19 Tennessee upset number 6 Arizona last night in Knoxville. John Fulkerson, 24 points, 10 rebounds. Vols defeated the Wildcats 77-73 at Thompson Bowling Arena. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
What's happening? Welcome in. JMart and Ramon, 104.5 The Zone, 2 days before Christmas, but Titans fans are hoping for something under the tree a little bit earlier, that meaning a victory. 3-point dogs to the 49ers, last time I looked at least. And a lot of the money is coming in on the Niners to cover. So you know what that means.
Yeah.
That means the Titans are going to win. Because this is what Vrabel does. AJ looks like he probably goes. Julio is going to go, which is kind of surprising, a little bit surprising. But you got problems on your offensive line, and certainly we're going to discuss that in great detail during the course of this program. Also, Vols with a big win last night, beating Arizona. Arizona team that was 6th ranked, but
Undefeated.
Well, yeah, not anymore.
Yeah. 11-1.
Lost on the road. Long season, everybody's going to lose, but that's a nice win for Tennessee, especially after not getting to play Memphis and showing up right before and getting a good victory there. WKU did not fare as well against Kentucky last night.
They didn't.
Lost by 35.
What? After beating Louisville?
Mm-hmm.
What does it say about Louisville then?
95-60.
Oh, he said, all right, we'll do this for charity, but you're going to catch these mitts.
Yeah.
Golly.
Pro Bowl, that's going to be a discussion, obviously.
Ooh.
Tots and pears, folks. Congratulations to Kevin Byard. He's the only one.
The Lone Ranger. He's going to make All-Pro, too, I think. It'd be a shame if he didn't. Byard should make All-Pro. He's playing at a very high level, not just playing at a high level. He's getting high praise from a lot of expert and analysts and former players too, and coaches. Anytime there's a coaches conference that they got to speak on week to week, he's their mainstay. But of course, there's at least 2 other guys, 3 potentially, that I'm sure the fan base felt like was snubbed, and I'm sure they did personally too. Just as a player, you feel that also. And you look at the list of some of the people chosen on that Pro Bowl list. Some of the usual suspects.
So it's hard.
That's
the problem. The problem is, who are you going to remove to put the guy that you wish was there in that spot? But the 2 guys you would be talking about would be Big Jeff and Harold Landry.
And the other one, and this one is because it's a known commodity on who it is, and that's Slater out of New England for special teams. He is a continued mainstay as far as special teams, Pro Bowl voting, as far as Ola getting in.
Right.
Yeah. Well, let me give you the name real
Tighten
quick.
up.
Matthew Slater, New England.
Mm-hmm.
And that's who took Ola's spot. Now, Slater's been to the Pro Bowl at least 7 times, but to his defense, he's doggone good. He's real good. And it's one thing everybody recognizes is New England special teams is elite, and he's the guy that's been leading the charge for a very long time. But Ola was a guy that I think that probably outplayed him this year. But again, to your point, Jeff and Harold, for sure.
And then again, the problem is when you see the guys that made it, you're just like, oh, gosh.
Yeah.
That's the thing, because it's not that you haven't been doing good things or your guy hasn't been doing good things. It's look at the names.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the guys who did make it. And then that becomes the issue. Another issue, not sports related.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't been more disappointed that something exists in a while than the Matrix Resurrections.
Whoa, why?
I saw it in IMAX, even though it's on HBO Max.
Okay.
As I've said before, the first Matrix is the top 3 all-time film for me. It's the reason I bought a DVD player, my first DVD player, regularly. I even like the other 2. A lot of people don't. I like the whole thing. I read books on it, theology on it, all sorts of stuff. This film sucks.
No way.
This film is not good. It doesn't need to exist. I actually dislike the rest of the entire story more now than I ever have before, just because that film exists.
It's that bad.
People clapped at the beginning when the green Warner Brothers logo popped up and they heard it, like, ah, ha, ha. Let me tell you who clapped at the end.
Nobody? What was the action not good? The storyline, the acting? What did it then?
It's cheesy. It's not done particularly well. The only thing about it is the nostalgia of it. And being with those characters for a little while longer, seeing clips here and there and stuff like that. But and there's a few performances that you like, and at moments it's fun. By the end of it, I couldn't wait to get out of there. I could not wait for that to be over.
Did they drag it on too long as far as the storyline in this one?
30 minutes in, I knew it wasn't good.
For real?
60 minutes in, I was like, all right.
You regretted it.
Sit here and hanging out. 90 minutes in, I was really...
Oh, that's cold-blooded.
It's just not good.
Well, it seemed like people have been, like you said, hype about it. It's just, I didn't expect you to say that. Did not expect you to say that.
You know how much fun it was to watch Spider-Man? Just how good a time that was? This was the opposite.
I'd have fell asleep is what you're saying.
I did.
You did?
I dozed 2 or 3 different times. I mean, the old me would have slapped me in the face for even thinking about it.
You dealt with it. It's got a 6.1 IMDb out of 10. Sheesh.
That's not great.
Yeah, I'm guessing that.
There will be some people that like it. I was extremely just like, gosh.
Now I can't wait to see it.
I just don't think it needs to exist. I think it did them no favors. And it's almost done in a way that as you watch it, you can tell the directors didn't want to do it. And they're trying to show you they didn't want to do it in the confines of doing it.
They're that petty sometimes.
They've even got breaking the fourth wall stuff in it where it's like, oh, we've done this 3 times before. It's like done in this very...
What could you correlate it to as far as disappointments with I know you're going to go
Spider-Man 3.
Hangover 2. Oh.
No, I mean, that was super disappointing. But I don't think that it's just different to try to compare genres. I would say Spider-Man 3. The way everybody felt going into Spider-Man 3 after Spider-Man 2, which may still be the best Spider-Man film. And then turning around and walking out of there like, what did I just see? Why did Tobey Maguire go down the street to disco?
Yeah.
All of that. Something like that. Not quite Green Lantern. Green Lantern was awful. This film, you can get through it. And it's just it's just a movie that there's a difference between being awful and being, I'm never going to watch this again. And I really don't even want to talk about it.
It's a one-timer.
It's just yes.
It's a one. Even with Keanu Reeves as
Honestly, and I got to say this too, since you mentioned it, I love Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
That's one of the worst acting jobs I've seen in a movie in half a decade.
Really?
It's horrible.
Golly.
It's horrible.
Now I do want to go see it. I want to be on the opposite side. I want to say, you know what, Jay, you're
Why
wrong.
would you want to be on the opposite side?
I want to go see
Just
this.
go see if I'm right.
I want to go see that. No, I kind of want to go see it now. And by the way, my
HBO Max.
My HBO Max is messing up, by the way. I think it may have been last week they could have been going through a server. I don't know. Something was going on. I couldn't sign in whatsoever. Now I want to go watch it.
Well, I mean, like I said, you have access to do so.
Yeah, I want to go
I hope
see
you
it
do.
now.
I hope everybody goes to see it like I said. I was just like, gosh, man.
A waste of time. Did you get popcorn at least?
No.
No popcorn?
I don't really do that. Carbs.
Do you Diet Coke?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got a Pib Zero cherry.
Pib Zero. Hold up. How you get a Pib Zero cherry?
Because of the freestyle machine.
Ah, okay. See, we don't have those in Hendersonville.
Yes, you do. Stop. What is wrong with you? Are we doing this?
What you talking about? What are you talking about? By the way,
Somebody give me the red pill.
Spider-Man is good. Real good if y'all hadn't seen it. Well, I thought it was really good. I'm looking forward to seeing this Matrix now.
Okay.
But it's probably going to get pushed off past the weekend because there's about to be nothing but Christmas movies in my house. Other than tonight.
Because of the game?
Yeah, because of the game.
615-737-1045. What do you think about the Pro Bowl? We will get into that. We'll show you who made it instead of Titans, where it would actually be relevant. Yes, we will talk about the offensive line and who in the world is going to keep Taylor Lewan up tonight.
Ooh.
That's coming up next. We'll be right back. JMart and Ramon, 104.5 The Zone.
Inbounds pass, 1 second. Larson from midcourt fires. That shot is no good. And the Tennessee Volunteers defend the home floor tonight as they've knocked off the 6th-ranked Arizona Wildcats, giving Arizona its first loss of the season.
That's how it sounded right here in 104.5 Zone yesterday. Tonight, you hope for a similar result. Titans-Niners. Niners are indeed a 3-point favorite right now.
Yeah, they are.
I sent you kind of the props last night that Fox Bet always sends all staff a bunch of emails and things of that kind of thing. And a lot of it I just throw away because, one, not a gambling guy, but I always pay attention to what certain games are doing. Passing yards, over-under for Ryan Tannehill, 210.5 tonight. Considering who's back, you would hope.
Yeah.
That they're going to be able to do that. Rushing yards, Deontay Foreman, 45.5. So they don't think they're going to be able to run the ball tonight, which is kind of interesting. Receiving yards for Kittle, 70.5. But they're saying 56% of the bets, 68% of the money currently on San Francisco to cover.
Yeah.
Meaning win by more than a field goal.
Yeah.
Or win by a field goal or more than. There you go.
This is yesterday news. I think more people were let down by Lawan being out. Excuse me, right there. Golly, come on, Mom, tighten up.
What just happened? By the way, when I was walking in,
like
as I drove in and parked, a cat just rolled through the security gate, just walked in front of my car and walked to the door.
Did it really?
I was like, "Are you waiting for somebody to open that?" And you just sounded like a cat. I may sound like a baby. You just sounded like a cat.
Excuse me. What I was saying was I saw a cat go to somebody's door yesterday. My buddies at Serve Pro. Just a regular cat. They actually got a bowl out for it now, too. And it's fixed, by the way. I don't know who fixed stray cats, but it's fixed. Walked up to their front door and just was waiting on them to go in. I'm like, golly, come on, guys, tighten up. But cats are like that. That's why Buck got 2 of them right now that he didn't actually want to have. That's besides the fact. I think more people were disappointed in the Lawan and Sappho being out than they were excited about Julio coming in.
Yeah, I mean, there's a plus and minus here, but the thing is we already know 17's been running for his life. Now what's he going to do? I mean, you got to play Kendall Lamb. Sounds like Dylan Radins is just not happening.
He's not going to play.
Remember what Jeff said? Because Jeff was doing the stuff with Manyweather.
Yeah.
And so he had looked at a lot of tape of a lot of offensive linemen. And I asked him that night, I sent him a text, and I was like, Jeff, what do you think of Radins? And he goes, I don't think he fits with what you guys do. I don't think he's big enough. Like, he basically was just like, there were 10 other offensive linemen I would have gone to before I even looked in Dylan Radins' his direction. And I was just like, well, then why did this just happen? That's what I started thinking. I'm like, somebody's way wrong here. Well, it seems like Jeff's not wrong.
Yeah. And I think they were planning for a situation more than anything. Like, okay, they probably thought Nate's, going to play this year out as good as he can. And Sappho's in a situation where you got to at least decide as far as business goes what you're going to do with him the following year. So let's go ahead and draft for the future. Let's go ahead and figure out what's our next plan. At least we'll have a guy that we draft as a tackle, but that can play guard too. And it'd be better off for him, from what everybody is saying, that he's a guard. When I saw his film, I thought guard. I did. But I'll say this. I'm slow to go on just saying good or bad on him because it takes linemen a couple of years to get going. But his situation doesn't seem like it's going to move in the right direction fast enough.
Right.
He's a guy right now that's seen Dylan Radins, that is. They're not even allowing him to get on the field.
Right. That's what I'm saying. And they need him because they're desperately short at that position. So what does that say about where he is right now in his development?
No injuries, no setbacks, no COVID list. He's been available. He's also been in the NFL program for going on 7 months at this point right now. So he's been lifting. He understands the technique that the guys in the room have been taught and what the coaches have given him. Enough time to digest the playbook and still no burn. Again, when I'm judging skill as far as according to levels, unless that guy's a bona fide first rounder, D2 prospects at O-line and D-line, I got to look at very seriously. I got to say, did he fully dominate that division? Did he fully dominate that division? One of the reasons I went to Tennessee was because I liked the University of Tennessee. And also I looked at their linemen. I said, if I go to Tennessee and if I play well enough, I know people respect Tennessee offensive linemen. What has North Dakota State's offensive line ever done? Not to say they're not capable of making a roster and being starters, because, I mean, look at Eric Fisher. That's a guy that's a D2 guy. Well, what did he go to? Western Michigan, Eastern Michigan? There's a lot of guys, but they take a whole lot more time to develop. It'd probably be easier for me to go draft a defender from North Dakota State as opposed to an offensive line.
Let me ask you this question, Moan, because I think there's another guy that Dylan Radins knows that was drafted in the NFL that we haven't seen much of this year either, who also didn't play very many games over the last few years. Trey Lance. He hasn't factored into virtually anything either. Of course, he plays for the team that's playing against the Titans tonight. I don't know if that's as much a statement about North Dakota State as it is a statement about sitting out and opting out, not playing that season. There's a lot of risks that just felt like they existed on some of these guys.
It was. And I think the evaluation of what scouting certain players is going to come into question. Now, again, let's say this. The hit rate for most GMs and scouting departments is about 50%. 50 to 60, sometimes 40 to 60% is your hit rate on getting a guy. But when you go second round, on top of losing your next year's second round draft pick because you traded for Julio Jones, that makes it look that much worse in my eyes, in the eyes of the fan, as far as what are you going to do next year? Okay, and again, maybe he needs more time. But right now you're in a position due to COVID, due to injuries, due to, Lawan being out here and there and Roger having his banged up issues and Nate being out and the depth of this O-line to where you're not afforded that. So you should have got a better ready-made guy. Again, I'm not saying Dylan Radins isn't a second rounder. What I'm saying is he ain't ready for what this team was ready to do this year. And that in itself was a mistake.
Looking at the second round of the draft this year, Tyson Campbell to the Jags at 33, cornerback. I will be honest to tell you, I don't know much about Tyson Campbell at this point.
I couldn't tell you much.
Elijah Moore,
yep,
know who he is.
Yep.
Javonte Williams, know who he is. Very happy that Denver drafted him. Javon Holland out of Oregon to the Dolphins of safety. Landon Dickerson, Alabama. Christian Barmore, Alabama.
Ooh.
Tevin Jenkins to the Bears, tackle. Richie Grant from Central Florida. Defensive tackle from Washington. Liam Eichenberg from Notre Dame. A few other names that you might know a little bit about. Asante Samuel Jr. to the Chargers, 15th pick of that round. Rondale Moore, 17th pick of the second round to Arizona. Azeez Ojulari. Owusu Koromoa.
Yeah.
20th. Then Dylan Radins was right after that. He's a 21st pick. He's a 53rd pick overall in the draft. I got to say, you kind of, by the end of the first season, when you're having depth issues, need for that guy to be better than practice squad.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. When you do that and pass up on even the guys after him. And so I'll say this. I don't want to take away from Aaron Brewer either. If Aaron Brewer deserves to start, fine. That's awesome. But we're looking at this situation where Lamb and Aaron Brewer are both on the same side and they have no cohesion together as far as just playing time together. Practice time, possibly, yes. But I'm going to be real with y'all. I'm a little scared for Tannehill tonight.
Yeah, well, I think we all are.
Again, I told you, Eric Armstead is a monster up the middle, too. He can play. Again, his stat line might not say that, but his dominance helps everybody else eat around him. And of course, that left side with Nick Bosa. Like, let's be real here. That guy is coming for blood. That guy is a mile a minute type of dude. So what do you do with the offense? If you know you don't have a great chance of doing long time play action, if you don't have a great chance of doing a 5-step drop to getting the ball out. Yes, you get Julio and AJ tonight, but it's looking kind of slim when it comes down to it. I think Kendall Lamb got in the game last week in Pittsburgh and almost gave up a sack in his one rep that he had then. And I know sacks are going to happen, but more than anything, the disruption of the offense can affect you more than actually taking your quarterback out. And that's what I'm more afraid of. Let's be real here. Lamb don't know a whole lot about him. He hadn't played a whole lot this year either. Aaron Brewer, we saw what happened last week and the week before that also. Like, he kind of got ran through a little bit, and that's below the line. Let's just say that. Up the middle, he'll be fine. We always know that. Ben does his job, man. Nate's had the wrong year to have this type of year. And then Quessenberry has been a guy that guys have ate off of also. I mean, we're looking at 41 sacks here. I'm not going to trash the guys because I know it's a hard, high-anxiety type of job to deal with in general. But you're going on prime time tonight. You're missing 2 starters. You've had a couple guys that miss a few games anyhow, and you got a new running back, 2 wide receivers that hadn't had a whole lot of time to work together. Again, to your point, Jay, this might be the type of game that the Titans win. But before kickoff is right now, if you're a Titans fan, you got to be looking at this game like, when will we ever get healthy? And then, of course, my biggest thing is, what actually happened to Lewan? He finished the game. Is it a setback with the knee? And I think I've seen this, of course, when reports come out. Buck put it out. We saw TD put it out. Jim Wyatt put it out. And you looking through all of those text threads, you see how disgruntled this fan base is over the fact that his availability has been real short as far as Lewan goes moving forward. Raj, okay, COVID situation, illness. We know what that is. But Lewan on the Thursday night game, man, when you don't have the quality depth, you have to go. If they got to drag you out, you do. Injuries are injuries, and I'm okay with that. But, boy, this availability is growing real thin on the fan base, and that's just me watching it from the Twitter streets. Not okay.
Just going through and looking at where offensive linemen were expected to go last year,
yeah.
Radens is in nobody's top 15.
Never heard of him.
He's in nobody's top 20.
Sometimes you're that lucky.
And sometimes you just don't.
Yeah.
But Lewan and Saffold being out. And look, Saffold's dodged his health all year too.
Yeah.
I just don't know how Tannehill doesn't get absolutely rocked and thrashed tonight. Mm-hmm. And if he doesn't have time to throw, I don't care if AJ and Julio are back.
Yeah. And that's the biggest point about them being out. Like, you say what you want to about them. Like, Sefo has been, Lewan has been steady for the most part. Like, again, he'll go out and miss a game or miss some reps in the game, and that's all a part of it. But him not having that blind side, we talked about from week 1, Tannehill having a little bit of PTSD from those 5 sacks given up that weekend. I think it may have been, 7 on the evening, 5 by one guy in the Arizona game, and he hasn't been right since. The play action doesn't have time to develop because he's got happy feet and patting the ball trying to get it out of his hand. If you think he was nervous last week and the week before, imagine what his nerves are going to be tonight. Like, it's not like it's a bunch of non-cons. Like, this is a group of really good defenders. They get to the quarterback. They have an offense that can score at will sometimes. They're not a blowout type of team, but you got to have your mind right for this week, and this team is dealing with a bunch of backups right now, man.
And Bosa knows it.
What do those type of dudes do? I've always told you.
Bosa knows everybody's watching Thursday Night Football.
And it's before Christmas.
And he wants people talking about him tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I don't see a universe where you're not talking about him tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let's go to Shane. He's on line 1. Shane, how are you?
I'm good. I'm one of those that, honestly, I was one of the ones that was in the stadium that actually booed Lewan because I'm just tired of Lewan. I mean, it's every day. I mean, he's just crying that, he stubs his toe and then he's mad when he gets booed on the field. I mean, if you would act like you actually seem like you want to be there, then the fans might actually get behind you. But ever since he came back this year, and I know that, everybody's like, well, he had a knee, he had a setback and all this. I'm like, but you're playing football. Like, you need to, strap up your pads and let's go. You're getting paid big-time money for this, so it's time for you to contribute because you ain't done much of what that you need to get paid for because you're getting paid a lot to contribute very little of what you've done. But I had Ramon, what I honestly want to know your honest thoughts on Lawan, and I will, just from you playing, and is he just checked out, or is he, is this? I just kind of want to know. I'll hang up and listen.
Hey, okay. Sorry, I'm gonna let you talk, man. My Niners is acting up.
Okay, all right.
My Bosa's hurting. Oh, God.
All right, what was his name? Was it Chase?
Shane. That was 5 letters.
Shane, sorry about that name mishap. So, all right, I actually had a conversation with a guy yesterday. We was talking about O-line, and this was a guy that didn't play the O-line position. He was just like, man, the thing about y'all offensive linemen, man, y'all don't take crap from nobody. Y'all stick together. If one person is out of line, then y'all get everybody in place. That's the way the offensive line. Nobody mess with the offensive line, and we always look at y'all as like, man, look at those big dudes, but y'all also were guys that stuck together, did everything together. Y'all were a team, y'all were a bond. Nobody messed with you, and you always were accountable. And we're looking at his situation. Now, again, he's coming off the ACL, so that's the excuse right there. As far as his ability to be out there, I've told you guys before, and I'm just different like that too. If I could go, I was going. The coaches had to shut me down. It wasn't a situation where I was looking to fall, to cop out of something. And I'm not saying he's doing that either. But what I'm saying is you always want to be a part of the gang if you have the ability to. Now, I don't know what his injury is, and that's the thing about the injury report, too. It allows some flexibility as far as guys just being out. If he had a knee setback, fine. If he needed more rest because he's going up against a big-time opponent this weekend, and Nick Bosa. I'll tell you guys this about guys like Bosa, about Watt, about the other Watt, about Vaughn, about Aaron Donald. When they see blood in the water, meaning a guy potentially with an ACL injury, a guy who potentially might need more time to recover, they attack that. They go after guys like that. I've been on one, I've gone out there with an uber taped up ankle before. And you know what happens? Guys come over to my side like, let me get my turn with him. So looking at this situation, if I'm Bosa and I know I got Lawan this weekend, I'm going at him every single play. I'm not a 3-play guy and go out of the lineup. I'm attacking him. I'm not saying that Lawan is not injured and not looking forward to it. Maybe he's just not ready to play this weekend or this Thursday night because it's a short turnover.
So what does that say? Well, you got it.
It could be just health reasons why he's not ready to be out there.
I get that, but there's health reasons all the time.
It is. And
all the time.
Nobody's fully healthy when it comes down to it after the first kickoff of the season. Whatever his situation is as far as Lawan goes, it's not sitting well with the fan base. Now, does the coaches in the office, the front office management, do they care about that? Probably not. They just want their product out there when it can be. This just puts your team at a real big disadvantage when you can't go in a situation like this. Injuries are bad, and they happen all the time. I thought he made it out of the game healthy in Pittsburgh. He didn't give up a sack. He had that holding call. But this is a bad spot to be in. And, again, I actually put some of this charge on the planning of the roster a little bit too. And I know COVID allowed teams to swipe up a lot of guys that would be available otherwise. So you can't really go pick from a nice quality pool of players, especially offensive line. It just looks bad. I've seen the comments on Lawan.
I just asked Jeff, by the way, about Radens again because he sent me a message, said my wife's trying to drag the tree out because that's what she does every year because she's the biggest savage of anybody I've ever encountered. She's going to drag it out and he's going to film it. But I asked about Radens. He said, I didn't like him. Too light. not enough explosiveness.
That's what I said about the D2 guy. I want to read this before we go into break. That this is Jason Kelsey, the center, and I think you may have read this before about fans booing and what the expectations are. And I laughed at this too. Well, I laughed at the idea that guys get mad when teams boo or when fans boo. He said everybody's going to get crushed at some point. Fact. Everybody's going to go through a downturn and be struggling. Fact. And at times, the city is going to keep you accountable for doing your job and performing. That's what's happening right now. But if you stick to it and you fight through it and you get better, they'll respect the hell out of you. Even if you're struggling and you're fighting and you're trying, they're still going to respect you. That's what I think most guys miss. I really don't think this is a hard place to play. He's talking about Philly at all. I think a hard place to play is, I think it would be miserable to play in a place like Jacksonville where nobody cares. And the reason fans are going at Lawan about this is because they care. They want to see this window stay open for this team. So the boos that he was talking about is part of the fan base caring. Go play in Jacksonville.
Well, I mean, think about this. I mean, Pittsburgh beat them on Sunday, right? They were getting booed out of the joint in the first half. They were getting booed out because the offense was unwatchably terrible.
Yeah.
And the punting wasn't good. And it was just, they were over it. Pittsburgh fans were over it in the first half of that game. That's going to happen. They care a lot in Pittsburgh. They care a lot here, obviously.
They care a lot here, yeah.
So with that comes, look, with great power comes great responsibility.
Yes, sir.
Or as the Froggy Terry say on Key and Peele, with great power comes great responsibility.
Dog, I understand the frustration. And everybody's talking about it without actually saying it. And I'm one of the ones not actually saying it because I can't go that far with it just yet.
Just yet's the key point there. 615-737-1045. 737-1045. What do you think about this? How worried are you for Tannehill tonight? Even if you think they could win the game, which certainly they could, are you concerned that the risk to the quarterback is such that it's going to be a hard watch for you tonight? What beverage are you going to be imbibing in watching the Titans tonight? Will it be eggnog? Will it be some kind of concoction that Ron Slay has probably been hawking on the air for the last few months? Will it be Coke Zero Cherry if you're Ramon Foster trying to take them all at the grocery store? Or will it just be water? I bet there's a lot of alcohol imbibed tonight. In eggnog or out. We'll be right back. It's JMart and Ramon, 104.5 The Zone.
Imagine if the first way we did things was the only way to do them, simply because that's the way we've always done things. I kind of hate that old saying. That's what's happened when you sell your home. You list your house and you got to keep it show ready because you never know when somebody's going to come through for a quick look. Or you got dozens of people marching through your home who may or may not be serious about buying. And this goes on and on and on and on and on and on until the right buyer comes along. Well, that's all ended now if you wanted to. It's Ramon Foster, and I want to tell you what I did. I went to opendoor.com, and I put in my address and a little bit of my home info, and I got an offer back in no time. It was no listings, no strangers, no stress. Open Door gives you a real competitive offer in minutes. Just go to opendoor.com/WGFX and get your free offer. Open Door is a new way to sell without all the hassles of a traditional home selling. You'll know exactly what you'll get, and you can decide when you want to close. Go to opendoor.com/WGFX and get your free offer today. That's opendoor.com/WGFX. Offer eligibility varies. Open Door is represented by Open Door Brokerage, Inc., license 02061130 in California, Open Door Brokerage, LLC, in its other markets.
It's JMart and Ramon, 104.5 The Zone. Niners Titans tonight. Titans will end up 10-5, or the Niners will be 9-6 at the end of the night. Both teams, well, no, the Niners are 5-2 on the road this year.
5-2 on a row. That's right. They weren't doing
Remember,
good
they were
at home.
terrible at home.
Yeah,
They're like 50. They're 500 now at home, but they had lost they were like 1 in their last 12 before they've gotten on this streak over the last few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Over under tonight 44.
44. That both defenses are good. I don't know if I would go under. I'm not a betting guy. I go under that right there. Both defenses being as good as they are. I just don't know how the Titans are going to get any offense out of this though.
What'd you say the number was?
The over under?
Yeah.
44.
It's under.
It's under.
Yeah, I feel the same way about this I did with the Steelers.
Yeah. I kind of think it's going to be not the prettiest game to watch because it's going to be a lot of defense played.
The question is, can the Titans get
control.
over 13 or 20 points? Because in the past 4 games, they haven't been able to break 20. And in those 3 losses, it's been 13 points each.
Well, AJ and Julio, that's going to have to be it. Maybe that's going to create some space for the 3rd and 4th wide receivers who've been the 1 and 2. Question: does Julio Jones finish the game, or is he standing on the sidelines weirdly in the second half?
Just based off what we've seen this year says no. I'm an optimist. Y'all know this about me. I'm always hoping for the best in a lot of different situations. That's just who I am naturally. Okay.
Boy, man, get as
it's just
far away
me.
from you as possible in case the lightning can't strike me when it hits you.
I want to say he's going to finish it out. I want to say he's going to because he has to tonight. There's no option tonight. You need this win tonight. And by the way, the games in which Taylor's been out of 2 were October 18th. That was the Bills game. I don't know if he finished it all out. They won that game, though. November 7th. That was the Rams game. This week he'll be out, and he also missed the Seattle game. Real good defenses in those teams right there, except for maybe Buffalo. But 3 of those they won. 3, all of those they won with them out, without them being in too.
Yeah, that was one thing that you also have proven, which is another reason why I don't think he's back.
Yeah.
They have gotten used to winning without him.
I got to make sure he was in or not in that Bills game or not.
The one where I side at it was when he was in the warm-ups in Seattle.
Well, he got knocked out. That's what that was in the Bills game.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
615-737-1045. Steve Palazzolo, Pro Football Focus. Teresa Walker, Associated Press, back from surgery.
This is her first game back from IR.
Hey.
Right.
You said it's okay. That's good.
Coach Mac
Attack.
yes! For game day. Is that it? Or am I missing somebody?
Macho Man, that's it.
Oh, that's right. We got Macho.
It was Macho today.
Hopefully
Let's
not.
go.
Hopefully not gonna have a repeat because
I ain't got the helmet today.
I don't need to have to. We don't need to replace more furniture in here.
Might smack you with the belt again.
I saw him hit somebody with a chair.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do that to you, but I'll show you how to do
I
it.
throw you over the balcony.
I'll show you how to do it.
Oh, you show it. Oh,
Yeah.
This is the whole wrestling move.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that.
Got to get that left forearm up, too.
615-737-1045. Predictions, folks. The picture me polling. Who wins tonight? Real simple. Titans, Niners. We could get all fancy with it, but we're not.
Nah, I ain't know.
Titans or Niners. And is the game going to be better than the Matrix Resurrections? Boy, I hope so. We'll be right back. It's JMart and Ramon, 104.5 The Zone.
Good morning. I'm Jonathan Shea. The Tennessee Titans will be without their starting left tackle and left guard tonight when they host the San Francisco 49ers at Nissan Stadium. Taylor Lewan out due to a back injury. Roger Saffold is on the reserve COVID-19 list. Meanwhile, Julio Jones expected to be in the lineup and A.J. Brown projected to play. Lee Company countdown to kickoff begins at 5 o'clock tonight. Kickoff set for 7:20 with Mike Keith and Dave McGinnis, courtesy of Titans Radio. The Indianapolis Colts lead the NFL with 7 selections for the Pro Bowl. Meanwhile, the Titans only have 1 in safety Kevin Byard. Congrats to him. Neither defensive end Jeffrey Simmons or linebacker Harold Landry were picked. Number 19, Tennessee, the basket Vols upset number 6, Arizona last night in Knoxville as John Fulkerson had 24 points and 10 rebounds to lead the Vols to a 77-73 win at Thompson Bowling Arena.
Fulkerson gets the inbounds pass in the corner, drives against Tabellis, goes up with the left hand and scores. Just took him across the lane.
He would not be denied. Big Fulky.
As heard here on The Zone, the Vols improved to 9-2 while handing Arizona its first loss of the season. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
What's happening? Hour number 2, JMart and Ramon, 104.5 The Zone. Steve Palazzolo, Pro Football Focus will pop in the next segment. Titans-Niners tonight. How do you feel about it? Let us know. 615-737-1045. Who do you think wins it? I said that the Titans would lose to the Steelers or the Niners. I didn't know which one. We'll predict this at the end of the show.
Yeah, man.
Can't dodge it this week, Ramon.
What? I was in there. Macho came in.
Oh, you dodged it. Just because you called and set up Macho Man to come in here at the end of the show to make sure you couldn't predict it.
It sounds like a baby goat right there, man.
The Taylor Swift goat from a handful of years ago.
It sounds
You know what Clara Grace has become?
A star? What?
Needy.
Needy?
Oh, baby being needy? That's never happened.
No. You know what?
She needs attention
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
No.
Heck yeah.
She will laugh at me continuously. There's some things I know that I can get her to laugh every time and just get super excited. But if I then walk away to, I don't know, sip a cup of coffee,
Yeah.
graze on some nuts, something.
Whoa.
Almonds.
Phrasing.
Whoa.
Why are you looking at me? Why are you looking at me? What did I do?
Don't look at Shafe in his eyes after what you just said.
Almonds.
Please don't
Walnuts.
make eye contact.
I'm glad that I stuttered over that so it can't be used against me.
I feel like we can pull that little snippet out for sure. But she's needy.
She just, like, you walk out, she's going to let you know about it.
Oh, 100%. Dad, come back.
If I need to use the restroom,
Yeah.
she still needs to be in line of sight,
Yeah, no.
which is sort of uncomfortable. And I'm like, look, I'm going to close the door and talk to you through the door. Daddy's out here.
Yeah.
Daddy is handling some business.
But that's the thing though, is you also, like, as much as you're training her to be a little human, like you really got to train her to just really be cool too. Like, the more you buy into that foolishness, and it ain't foolishness because CG didn't ask to be here. You know what I'm saying? That was you having a grand old time. And here she goes. Okay. But you gotta like train her to be like, look, no, you just gonna sit there for a second. It's gonna pain you to leave her there.
No,
That's your sweet
I've
baby
started
girl.
doing that already. Like,
Yeah.
I just kind of, I let her cry and let her self-soothe. I gave her Grover. A day ago.
Who was Grover?
With a toy. Grover. You've
You
seen
named
it.
it?
Blue.
You had a little brother on the way
Sesame
already.
Street. No.
Oh. Now folks are reacting to you. All right, so we're done with your grades. Never mind. I can't even say that on air right now. But she'll be fine, Jay. You'll be good, man. This is fatherhood. Welcome to the life. She's needy. I'm needy. You feel me? You're needy. You know what I'm saying? Next thing you know, you need to be holding her in your arm while you make a bomb coffee cup of some grade B Java.
Ratchet stuff.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, you'll be all right. Also, by the way, last night, University of Tennessee Vols basketball team. The only top 25 matchup on last night. And it's two things I took from that game last night. One, the guys are good. Two, I've heard, I think Brian Rice say this. I've heard Ron say this. I'm not sure if either one of you guys kind of said this too from this past weekend's mishap, that big games like would have been Memphis UT or watching that Arizona-Tennessee game last night need to be played on campus. Unless it's like a special or a holiday tournament or something like that. That crowd at TBA last night had a big effect on that game. They went up to they started off with a 9-0 run, and that crowd did not turn down whatsoever. When Arizona started to make a run, they were all over it. Like, the momentum of the crowd last night took that team. But not only just that, they are a very solid team. I'll say this to basketball fans. If you haven't watched the University of Tennessee basketball team this year, treat yourself. Even in the loss that they had, they still play well. Well, no, I can't say they still play well because that Texas Tech was just a bad shooting display. But what you're getting out of this team is a lot of hustle. Fulke coming back, oh my.
24-10 last night.
Whoo. And balled. And not only so, him getting that 24-10. In the second half of that game, Rick Barnes, Kennedy Chandler, just everybody holding the ball, found a way to isolate the big man. And in the world of shooting threes, in the world of, man, up and down the court, fast break, no, let me pull up. Arizona did that a few times last night. On a fast break, just pull up at the three-point line. And I get it. It's part of the game right now. But they isolated Fulke on the post and let him do work last night, man. It was amazing to see, considering I was a big man in high school, and when you got a situation like that, it's so cool to watch them feed the big men down low. And he fouled out. I think Arizona had like 3 guys foul out last night simply because, one, they couldn't guard him. They were hacking at him, getting cheap fouls at the bucket and whatnot. And it was a nice display of coaching, teamwork, and just an overall just good win against the undefeated Arizona team. And they're playing in the Pac-12, so it's not like this is a fluke team.
So this
was a good team.
I got Arnie Spanier, who I actually replaced on Fox Sports on Saturday nights. He still does Sundays with Chris Plank. He's a Zona guy. Big-time Arizona fan. Here's a tweet. I just decided to choose violence on Arnie, who's a really nice guy. Man, I hope we get Tennessee again in the tournament. This time, no home cooking, no fouling out our 2 best players, no more foul trouble with the starters, no tea at the end of the game that pretty much sealed it.
You, Aaron Rodgers.
If I didn't know better, I'd think that was Vols Twitter after a loss.
Yeah.
Just to show you it happens everywhere.
Homer.
Yeah.
Hey, Arnie.
How deep I gotta dig for you to pipe down?
I even said Arnie's a pal and a Zona guy, but I'm choosing violence, showcasing this in Tennessee. Let the ratio begin.
Oh, no doubt. Let him have it. He asked for it.
Kapow.
He's going to get it.
He'll be all right. He's tough.
615-737-1045. Steve Palazzolo, Pro Football Focus. Next, your phone calls as well.
Uh-oh.
It is JMart and Ramon. Game day. Titans-Niners tonight here on 104.5 The Zone. JMart and Ramon, 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors in Nashville. At JMart and Ramon, what are you?
Because we have talks of nuts grazing, and then Shay plays this track.
Do you graze?
No.
I've been accused of grazing for years.
No.
That's been part of the diet. It's just every time I go to the kitchen, I grab a handful of almonds or walnuts or pecans.
What you said last time.
I said grazing. And grazing sounds a lot like phrasing, so I'm not going to finish that.
Phrasing?
At J. Martin Ramon on Twitter, you need to grow up.
My friends keep telling me not to.
You need to grow up. Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline, our friend Steve Palazzolo of Pro Football Focus is there. Steve, how are you?
Doing great. Thanks for having me as always, guys.
Good morning, Steve.
So we got the game tonight. The game's here in town. It's kind of important to both of these teams. How do you assess both the state of the Titans and the state of the Niners as we walk into this one?
I mean, I think with the Titans, it's just trying to figure out who's playing every single week. So I don't know what the state is. I'd love to see the state of a real full Titans team because I feel like that'd be pretty impressive the way they've played this year overall. And then the 49ers, I would say, trending in the right direction. You know, they started out slow. I think some people forgot about them. And then when George Kittle and Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk were all on the field at the same time, people were reminded of just how explosive this team was supposed to be, how good Kyle Shanahan is at getting those guys in space. And, you know, Elijah Mitchell, the rookie running back who's been productive and hasn't played and has been hurt, you know, you just have another running back that's really productive in the Shanahan system. So I think the Niners are trending in that, you know, they are what we thought they would be before the season direction over these last 6 to 8 weeks. And the Niners are dangerous right now because they're kind of the opposite. They're not, I mean, nobody's completely healthy, but the Niners have a lot of their key pieces back, and you're really starting to see what they're able to do offensively now. So
no Taylor Lewan, no Roger Saffold tonight on the offensive line. Tell us a little bit about the pass rush and how much trouble Ryan Tannehill could be in the pocket tonight.
Yeah, the Niners, you know, they a couple of years ago, they were really deep, went to the Super Bowl in 2019. Coming into the season, on paper, it didn't look like it would be as good, but certainly in recent weeks, pass rush has been fantastic. Nick Bosa heads it up, and, you know, he's tough for anybody to block, starters or backups. So Niners, again, after the quarterback extremely well. They've got like Arden Key coming off of his, you know, career high performance or career best performance rushing the passer. So, yeah, they're legit up front. Eric Armstead, big, long, you know, difficult, you know, moves around, difficult to block up front. Samson Ebukam. So they've just taken a whole bunch of pretty good defensive linemen, added them to a superstar like Nick Bosa. And, yeah, it's a very good defensive front, and it's certainly going to be a challenge for the Titans in both the run game, but especially from the pass protection standpoint.
Steve, man, again, welcome to the show. Again, we appreciate you because we get a chance to get some questions answered about players because y'all have a specific metric on what you judge players by. One guy in particular that's really kind of had people on, do we love him or do we hate him? And that's Taylor Lewan. Steve, if you could, man, walk us through what you guys have on him, feel about him, how he's graded out as far as, you know, what he means to this team, because this is another game in which he's missed. And I know the ACL is always an issue. And sometimes if the ACL isn't right, they said apparently now it's a back on why he's out now. So the knee is connected to the hip bone, okay, basically what I'm saying.
Easy. I don't need the song, man.
But what is his value to this team, Steve?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the people that don't love Taylor Lewan unless you're just looking at maybe those first few games. You know, the first few, like the Arizona game, week 1, of course, was not good. And, you know, how much of that was just, you know, injury and recovery. And his first 3 weeks were his lowest graded games from us. And again, our grades are just production-based. Did you make the block? Did you not? Both pass pro, both in run game. And since that point, Lewan's been much better. He's been solid. He's a good, solid left tackle. And that's the thing that I like to always reiterate through the PFF lens is that you don't need to have the best offensive line in the league. You don't need a great offensive line, you just don't want to have weaknesses. And when you have a player like Luan, who's always been an above-average tackle, that's how we've evaluated him, above average, one of the better left tackles in the league, that's really valuable, knowing that you have a position on that starting five that is consistent, that is going to produce. And that's where Luan's been pretty much the majority of his career. And then this year, outside of those first few games, that's what he's been. Gives up only a couple pressures per game. He's a very good run blocker. That's a valuable commodity in today's NFL. So I think Luan, that's a tough loss when he's not out there for the Titans.
Yesterday, the news broke, of course, of Pro Bowling. And we know it's a fan thing. It's a popularity. All-Pro is where we start to look at things. One of the biggest snubs, I think, in the entire NFL across all platforms was Jeff Simmons. How do you view him? And I know DeForest made it, Cam Hayward made it, and I think Chris Jones made it. Who are you replacing out of that group when it comes down to saying, yeah, Jeff needs this over you?
I don't know if he gets it over those three guys. I think the NFL may have gotten it right. I know Simmons is really good. Jones and Hayward are both playing, pretty much at an elite level right now. I think probably a step above where Simmons is. If I had to replace one of those guys, it would be Buckner. We have Simmons graded higher than Buckner this year, and that's in both. You've got your traditional sack totals, but also just total pressures and run defense grade. Jeffrey Simmons does beat Buckner in both of all of those areas, really. So I'd say it's Buckner, but you get a little bit of that name recognition stuff, right? So that's certainly a huge factor when it comes to the Pro Bowl. But I think Hayward and Chris Jones were correct, and if we were going to put Simmons on the team, it'd be over DeForest.
Steve, who is the NFL MVP right now? If you had to vote today, and how long down your list is a running back or a wide receiver and not a quarterback?
Oh man, so because I don't even know if everybody at PFF would agree with me, but I don't get caught up in the recency bias. So coming off of a shutout, this is going to sound crazy, but I would give it to Tom Brady as the MVP. And the running back is way down there, way down the list.
Wow.
But my Brady explanation is this: we have a wins above replacement metric that essentially takes in how well have you played, how well have you played in the specific facets that lead to winning, and Tom Brady's worth almost half a win more than any other quarterback in the league, and the quarterbacks always top this number, and it's because week 1 counts just as much as week 15. And, if we get caught up in recency bias, Aaron Rodgers, who's, the MVP favorite right now, he had pretty much the same exact game against the Saints this very season. It just happened to occur in week 1, right? So we forget that stuff. Aaron Rodgers has had 2 really below average games, Saints game, 17-0 win against the Seahawks. Rodgers has actually missed a game as well, which does not bring value to your team. So I think Brady is the guy. But the problem with this pick is that a lot of his best play came in the first 6 weeks of the season. He's been good since then, but not great. But he was great early on, and I think that kind of gets lost in the shuffle. As far as running backs, Jonathan Taylor's been awesome. He's fantastic. But similar, he had 5 or 6 games where he didn't really show up. The Colts weren't winning games. He's been good. He's been the best running back in the league as far as pure runner. He's done great with what's in front of him, but he's also had more opportunities than other runners because of that offensive line. So the running back is, even when they perform extremely well, they're still more of a complementary piece rather than the catalyst. As much as I've come around on, Derrick Henry's special and all that stuff, we've even seen, the Titans' run game isn't bad without him, and that's a pretty common occurrence around the NFL when it comes to, replacing running backs. So I think the running backs are low. Cooper Kupp I would consider because it is such a special season and it's a pass game. But for me, it's Brady because of the entire body of work, not just, the last thing that we saw last Sunday night.
Yeah. Speaking of a guy that can be MVP for his team, George Kittle, man. He's healthy again. The Titans got to see him. The defense for the Titans has been nice. I don't think that's one of the biggest issues, but he still, brings a threat to anybody defending him. Just how special is this tight end for the 49ers?
Well, Kittle is just so good because, there's always that fun debate with him and Travis Kelce, and they're just different players. But Kittle, really is the closest thing, I think, to to Gronk in his prime, where you could throw the ball to him anywhere, any way, meaning you can line him up all over the formation. You can throw it over the middle. He's incredible after the catch. He's averaging 7 yards after the catch per reception. So, he's tough to take down. And then you put him in the run game, and he can block defensive ends. He can set the edge and do those. That's where he separates himself from a Travis Kelce, and does remind of a Rob Gronkowski, because you do bring run game versatility with the George Kittle. So he's incredible. When he's healthy, he can do it all. And that's what makes him scary. Down the stretch, you saw it against Cincinnati a couple of weeks ago. They're just, Garoppolo just puts it up in the area code, and George Kittle's going to go get it and make a play. So he's been great. And while we're here, Ramon, I got to give a shout out to Trent Williams.
Oh yeah,
no doubt.
He's on pace. I mean, he's on pace to be the highest graded offensive line season we've ever seen among tackles, among anyone, because he's just been just so incredible up front in the run game in particular. So Trent Williams is going to be fun to watch here tonight as well.
And mind you, so I read the article on him this morning about his documentary he's released. This guy was like months away from like terminal cancer hitting his brain. Like he couldn't sweat, couldn't run, couldn't work out in 8 months. Had the situation with Washington, and then got back into the best shape of his life to be playing the way he is right now. I know Joe Thomas gets all of the credit in our era. I'm speaking of when I played up to now. But who's the real guy? Is it Joe Thomas? Is it Trent Williams when we're looking at these two guys?
Yeah, it's interesting because I think Thomas, he's just the pinnacle from a pass pro standpoint.
Pass pro.
It looks pretty. I mean, yes, pass protection, right? And Joe Thomas was not nearly as good he was a good run blocker. He wasn't great. I do think Trent's probably the best run blocking tackle of our time. It's interesting. He was our top graded tackle both in 2013, and then 2016, and then last year. So Trent's kind of done it at various points throughout his career and peaked at different spots, and now he's back, at the top this year. So Trent Williams has been great, but I still think Joe Thomas is the guy. But Trent Williams, certainly one of the best all-around offensive linemen, all-around tackles that we've seen in our era.
Which quarterback would you rather have tonight, Jimmy G or Ryan Tannehill?
Oh, man. Jimmy G's playing pretty good football right now. I think Tannehill, though, I think the track record that he's put together these last 3 years, again, I think the way I try to value the PFF system or try to explain to people that you could value it is Ryan Tannehill's still grading pretty well this year, even though the stats look horrible compared to even just league averages, but what they've been in recent years, because we could kind of separate him from that supporting cast. So you've got Jimmy G here, who is just his on-field production is incredible. But you've got George Kittle, you have Deebo Samuel, guys making plays in space. The Titans have absolutely nobody, by name at least, to throw to, and Tannehill's still making throws. I know the pass game hasn't been good these last few weeks, but I think it's because of that holistic approach, right? Not everybody is there. But I think throw for throw, Tannehill's been a better quarterback, and add the run game component. So I give Tannehill a slight edge here over Jimmy G.
I want to go back to this Pro Bowl list again. Did Harold Landry get snubbed when you look at his stat line also?
No, so he's another guy that we would go – I'd almost give like the opposite explanation of Tannehill. I think he's been inflated a little bit by the stat line. So he's got a ton of sacks, but it's not a great – he hasn't been a great pure one-on-one winner of blocks, so to speak, when it comes to rushing the passer. So I think Landry's had a really good year, but I think, run game wise, we don't have him graded all that well either. So I don't think he's been as good as maybe the stat line or like the breakout stat performance would indicate this season.
So not picking him over Myles Garrett, Max Crosby, Trey Hendrickson as far as DNs.
No, I think that's the right trio there. Garrett and Crosby both playing 90 football for us, which is an elite level.
Okay.
Trey Hendrickson playing, and we have Trey Hendrickson, who has similar sack totals, I think better sack totals than Landry, but playing at a higher level for us, especially from a pass rush standpoint than Landry.
So another position he could have got in, outside linebacker, not over T.J. Watt, Joey Bosa, or Matt Judon.
Well, this is just a problem with the entire thing. You just mentioned a bunch of guys who play the same position.
Yep.
They're all edge rushers. This is ridiculous that the Pro Bowl can't figure this out, what a linebacker is and what an edge rusher is. Like, what year is this? Who'd you say?
TJ, Joey
No.
Bosa, and Judon.
I think Judon's the only one. So Judon, if I went on New England radio, I'd say the same thing, right? They'd say, oh, he's having a great year. I'd think, oh, maybe he's not as good as maybe the stats would show. I think Judon would be the one that he would be competing with for that last spot. But even Judon, we have him graded slightly higher at this point. So I wouldn't. I love Harold Landry. I love him coming out. I wouldn't pound the table for him as a snub so far this year.
If you say Kansas City, if you do, and you can change this, but if you say Kansas City is the most dangerous team right now in the AFC, the one that you maybe believe in the most, who would be second on that list?
Oh man, I think still probably New England. You know, again, not getting caught up in recency bias, and this could completely change with Buffalo. I mean, if you're saying dangerous, I think it's the Bills. I think the Pats might be the second best all around team in the AFC. Let's go with the Bills as most dangerous, just because they're capable, right? They've got as much as the run game is. Run game's important, and it's December and all that stuff. But to me, it's still a pass the ball, stop the pass league. And Josh Allen. He can chuck it around and play. He can play a high end game as much as any other quarterback in the league. And then defensively, they do a nice job even without Tre'Davious White. They do a nice job of avoiding big plays, making life a little bit difficult for quarterbacks, rushing the passer. So give me the Bills as most dangerous, even though I think they're flawed and they don't match up well against any team in the AFC except maybe the Chiefs because they can get run all over.
One more: are the Cardinals in trouble? In terms of, obviously for the regular season, not having Hopkins is going to change things, but are they in trouble when it comes to going into the postseason and after a great season flaming out relatively quickly?
Yeah, I think because the NFC is really good and top heavy, right? The Packers, Bucks, Cowboys, all the teams that have double-digit wins like the Cardinals. I always thought the Cardinals were, I was impressed with what they had done, was always kind of waiting for them to come back down to earth, and I think they've done that. They will have to try to figure out a way to create more offense without DeAndre Hopkins. They're definitely more equipped to do that this year. My concern is on that defensive side of the ball. I think they were just overachieving early in the year on that side of the ball, and I think they could have trouble against those top three teams in the NFC. But definitely the best Cardinals team we've seen in a while. So we'll see if they can bounce back here. But certainly think them as the fourth or fifth best team in the NFC is a lot more realistic than them as the best team where they were ranked a couple weeks ago.
So who wins the game tonight?
Let's see. I always try to check. I'm in Nashville on national radio. I'm loving what the Titans are bringing to the table here tonight, even without the left side of their offensive line. Ryan Tannehill magic in prime time. He's going to make some big time throws here, and AJ's definitely back. Is that right? So,
yeah. Yep.
I think we'll see how much they missed him here tonight on Thursday night. So give me the Titans. If you listen to my podcast, I might pick something different. But here in Nashville, I'm picking the Titans.
Steve, that prediction actually, I think makes people more mad than if you would just pick the Niners.
No.
We appreciate it, though, brother.
Jimmy G, they're going to roll. We can't stop shit.
Good Lord.
We can't stop them.
Oh, man. Merry Christmas to you and the family, Steve. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Merry Christmas to you and all of your fantastic listeners.
He's such a troll.
Steve gets the show.
I miss troll, Steve.
Hey, so NFL, Tom Palazzolo just put up an article, talked to 23 executives, GMs around the league about their MVP. It's a two-man race. Hint, one of them's not a quarterback. We'll be right back. JMart and Ramon, 104.5 The Zone. It's JMart, Wet Basement or Crawl Space. I want you to call United Structural Systems. I've been telling you about these guys since the very beginning of JMart and Ramon. It's because they've been here a lot longer than that. Well over 25 years, helping over 20,000 satisfied residential customers and counting. The go-to company when it comes to foundation repair and waterproofing. So if you have a wet basement or crawl space, you don't and shouldn't have to put up with that. Water intrusion and moisture can give you all sorts of problems down the road, so you got to find a way to get this fixed. It's only going to get more expensive, and it's devaluing your home by the day. It might be poor drainage or a plumbing leak. Maybe it's surface water flooding over your walls, underwater pressure forcing water into your basement. You don't know, but you don't have to. Only thing you need to know is you need to get it fixed today. The team of United Structural Systems, though, they will diagnose the problem, find out why you have a wet basement or crawl space, then give you the plan to fix it, and then you make the call. You decide to move forward. You don't pay a dime until they're done with the work and you are fully satisfied. Nothing to lose to get that free estimate and find out how much it's going to cost to fix from the people I trust and the people I know you can trust. Here's the telephone number, 615-227-2275. That's 227-2275 or online at ussTN.com. United Structural Systems.
Good box out by Fulkerson.
Really good.
And gives to Vescovi. Vescovi drives to the basket, throws it up. Good, and he's fouled. Vescovi. A Euro step to the basket, flips it off the glass. Good, and he's fouled and will go to the line as Krisa picks up the foul.
Come on.
Vols with a big win. Fulkerson drew 13 fouls last night.
Whew.
There are multiple games this year where the Vols as a team didn't do that. Tom Palazzolo wrote this piece. It was put together by a couple different people. NFL execs vote on awards. Who's MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year. 23 NFL teams, high-ranking executives, including 10 general managers, all on a condition of anonymity. Most valuable player. Quote, it was a two-man race between Aaron Rodgers, 11 votes, and Colts running back Jonathan Taylor, 8. The rare non-quarterback to make an MVP case. And then they spend a lot of time talking about Aaron. Now, the Packers are 11-3, while the Colts have rallied from a 1-4 start to 8-6 by riding Taylor, who's on the short list of backs who can run with power and strength, but also create explosive gains even when things aren't blocked perfectly. He's on pace to eclipse 1,800 rushing yards and 20 touchdowns. Thresholds crossed by only 3 running backs in NFL history, all who won MVP the year they accomplished the feat. Terrell Davis in 98, Sean Alexander in 05, and LaDainian Tomlinson in 06. It hadn't been done in 15 years.
It's elite class right there.
AFC executive says he's kind of taking the team on his shoulders, which is hard to do for a runner. He's taken over games. Most of their big games he's taken over. Now, that sounds like Derrick Henry to me.
Yeah.
Sounds like the exact same thing you could say about Derrick Henry. Tom Brady received 2 votes. Quarterback Justin Herbert and Cooper Kupp got 1. So it's Taylor and Rodgers if you're looking at.
Wow.
And it's only a 3-vote difference between Aaron Rodgers and Jonathan Taylor. Titans fans not going to be happy with that.
If there's a year to do it, is this one.
I even said, like, the quarterback play has not been the same.
Yeah.
Defensive Player of the Year, T.J. Watt, 8. Micah Parsons, 4.
Because he's a rookie.
That is insane. I'm not saying it's insane he got 4. It's insane he has 4 votes because he deserves them.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
And I think he's only gotten 4 because he's a rookie.
That dude is
a problem.
The rest,
because of the 17th game, T.J. Watts has a heck of a chance to set the new single season record.
which I'm not going to accept.
I'll acknowledge it.
You accept it as a new record for a new era.
Yeah.
But I'm not comparing that to guys that did it in 16 games.
I mean, that's the same thing to be said about Deacon Jones, though, too.
So what are we going to do with 18 games then?
I'm just saying, like, these records don't mean the same to me. It's the same thing as if Jonathan Taylor hits 2,000, but he needs 17 games to do it. I'm not going to view it the same way.
So is Derrick Henry's 2,000 not as good as OJ's?
No.
Gotcha.
Who did it in fewer games?
OJ did it in fewer games, for sure. For sure. But it's still the achievement. And, of course, the line's going to be moved now. And also, you look at look at what Cooper Kupp's doing.
No, we're right. Myles Garrett, 3. Trayvon Diggs, 3. Joey Bosa, 2. Aaron Donald, 1. Robert Quinn, 1. Jalen Ramsey, 1. Those are the other guys that got votes.
I'm going to make an anti comment, especially against TJ with me, playing with TJ. I actually think Diggs should be higher. It should possibly be tied with what TJ is doing. I mean, is he double-digit interceptions on the year right now? He's absolutely killing it. And I just recognize at that position a great year for a cornerback is about 4 interceptions. That's a heck of a year. The kid from the Colts who made the Pro Bowl, by the way, they lead the NFL with Pro Bowlers. He only has, I think, 2 on the year. So looking at what Diggs has done in Dallas, I'm like, that doesn't come by every year.
Well, again, he's 3rd. Parsons is 2nd. T.J. Watt is 1st in this list. I would say this. Playing a corner in the NFC East, it's a good place to make a living if you're going to do it.
Well, that's true too, but
I'm not trying to slight it. I'm just saying it does help to have Daniel Jones, Taylor Heineke, other dudes throwing the ball. Offensive Rookie of the Year. Tight race. Mac Jones, 11. Jamar Chase, 9. So right now, Mac would win it according to this deal, which is, of course, not the final deal. Kyle Pitts, Rashawn Slater, Jalen Waddle, 1 vote each.
Yeah.
Defensive Rookie of the Year. Big shock here. Micah Parsons, 20 votes. Pat Surtain, 3.
Really?
Coach of the year, Belichick.
Yep.
He's only won it 3 times, even though he could have won it every year. 11 votes in this poll, a runaway, they're saying. The rest, Ravens, John Harbaugh, Cardinals, Cliff Kingsbury, Packers, Matt LaFleur, Cowboys defensive coordinator Dan Quinn, all with 2 each. Sean McVay, Brandon Staley, Zach Taylor, Mike Vrabel, 1.
Mm-hmm.
Executive of the year, Bill Belichick.
He's their executive too. He's their GM.
Top GMs and personnel men also acknowledge him for the way he's overhauled the Patriots roster in concert with director of player personnel and the team's personnel staff. Edged out Packers GM Brian Gutekunst, who received 6 for somehow them not falling off a cliff.
I mean, this is true. You pretty much got to send him an edible arrangement or something.
Colts GM Chris Ballard, who we always talk about. And then Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, Will McClay, front office triumvirate with the Cowboys, got 3 each. Jason Light and Tom Telesco, Bucks and Chargers GM, respectively, got 1 each. So there it is. If you're talking about NFL executives, it's a 2-man race for MVP between Aaron Rodgers and Jonathan Taylor.
Wow.
615-737-1045 after the headlines. We'll take some of your calls if you'd like to chime in on what you're going to see tonight or what you just heard. Teresa Walker will join us in 25 minutes. It's JMart and Ramon, 1045 The Zone.
It is 8 o'clock. Good morning. I'm Jonathan Schaefer. 1 up with 3 to play. That's the Titans' current situation heading into the home stretch of the regular season. Titans are 9-5, lead the AFC South over the Indianapolis Colts by 1 game. Tennessee, though, has lost 3 of its last 4. It's unknown what type of an impact either or both A.J. Brown and Julio Jones will have tonight against the 49ers. The Titans will be without its starting left tackle and left guard. Taylor Lewan out due to a back injury. Roger Saffold is on the reserve COVID-19 list. The Lee Company countdown to kickoff begins at 5 o'clock tonight. Kickoff set for 7:20 with Mike Keith and Dave McGinnis. Mentioned the Colts a moment ago. They lead the NFL with 7 selections for the Pro Bowl. Meanwhile, the Titans only have 1 in safety Kevin Byard. Neither defensive end Jeffrey Simmons or linebacker Harold Landry were picked. College basketball last night, a great night on Rocky Top. Number 19 Tennessee upset number 6 Arizona.
Inbounds pass, 1 second. Larson from midcourt fires. That shot is no good. And the Tennessee Volunteers defend the home floor tonight as they've knocked off the 6th-ranked Arizona Wildcats, giving Arizona its first loss of the season.
Final score was 77-73. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home. The Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
This from the Smoky Barn News. The Sumner County Sheriff's Office with Sumner County Animal Control investigating after a woman was reportedly attacked by a kangaroo near White House, Tennessee on Wednesday evening. First responders were called to a residence in the 300 block of Fern Valley Road just outside White House city limits around 5:45 p.m. after reports of the kangaroo attack. According to multiple sources, including the Sumner County Sheriff's Office, the woman's husband stepped in after his wife was attacked. After a struggle with the animal, the kangaroo is now deceased, officials said. According to Fire Chief Joe Williams with the White House Community Volunteer Fire Department, the husband told officials at the scene that he bear hugged the kangaroo until it expired. You what?
So the guy killed a kangaroo.
With his bare hands.
With his bare hands.
And there was a kangaroo in Sumner County.
By the way, that's the first time a bear hug's ever won in a match.
Yeah.
You always end up. Why didn't the kangaroo just
Why did
clap the ears and get to the ropes?
He clearly wasn't on the workout plan.
Look, clapping the ears even worked against Andre the Giant.
Seriously, Andre couldn't win with a bear hug, but this dude could. I just like how it's written. After a struggle with the animal, the kangaroo is now deceased.
Alan Bell last night was asking if the kangaroo could play left tackle. And I had to inform him that the kangaroo has expired.
I feel like kangaroo could be a guard even now, even expired.
Even expired.
Even expired.
What? By the way, somebody sent me a map, and it's supposedly illegal to have a pet kangaroo in Tennessee. And there's a pet kangaroo in Tennessee. Was
it a pet?
It had to have been a pet. It was in somebody's exhibit somehow.
That doesn't necessarily mean it's a pet, right?
Look, if I put you in a fence, you're my pet. You put CG in her cradle, she's a pet. I can't. But
what?
Because you put her in a cage. No, your daughter has prison bars on her crib.
Schaefer has seen it.
It's nice.
Up close and personal.
I bet it is nice.
It is.
I bet it is
nice.
Go ahead. Tell me how nice it is.
Go ahead, Moan. Tell us
how nice it is.
I know what you're doing.
I mean, it's a medieval jail cell, but it's
See, I'm looking for a car,
nice.
right? I'm going to test drive some cars today. Moan's sending me these cars yesterday.
No. Okay, go ahead.
I'm going to do it. No, not bluntly, like you're trying to help me. And I appreciate it, right?
Yeah.
But he's sending me these cars. I'm thinking to myself, one, can't buy these cars because I know what's coming up on air. Let me just tell you about the cars that he was sending me. I showed them to Abby, and Abby's response was, you need to take your dreams down just a notch right now.
Ramon Foster, dream killer.
No. I'm trying to make all my friends got to flourish in this world, man. If you tell me, Shafe and Jason, I'm looking for a car. I've helped numerous people find their cars, okay? My wife would I'm always looking at the market to see what's out there. Man, boom, I like this car. I'm still waiting on the Mach-E to come up on Two Rivers Ford. Hashtag ad right there. Okay, but what I'm telling you is this. I enjoy helping my friends find cars. And Jason, you told me what your price range was. You said that you was looking for a BMW, a simple car. BMW, a simple car. That's what you were looking for. And I was like, cool, let me find stuff that's in that market. I sent you the simple cars that you were looking for.
Stop it.
And then I sent you some that were like
crossovers and mid-sizes for the most part.
Stop.
Mid-sized SUVs. I told you what I was actually looking at.
You said a simple BMW. A nice car. A SUV. BMW. X3, X5.
I was going to look at some of those. But then the money was just, no, not yet.
You gave me
maybe
your
next
range.
contract.
Okay, anytime, anybody tell me I'm different. Anytime you go buy a car, you say, man, this is my line. And then you go about 2,000 or 3,000 over.
Well, the thing that I need
was
to know.
already going to do that for you.
The thing that I need to know is the haggling process.
They don't haggle at Two Rivers Ford. They don't do that at Two Rivers Ford. You good to go.
Hashtag ad.
You didn't call them for me either. I actually called them for me. And
you're right. I did not call about that because I didn't think you was ready to buy the car yet.
I didn't either, but it turns out.
We'll go up there today if you want to.
I'm test driving a few things today.
A few things.
I have a couple scheduled at a couple
and
different
y'all
places.
talk about my trees.
I mean, I'm buying a few things.
If you get on that lot, you ain't leaving.
Oh, yes, I am.
You are not leaving without staying there 3 hours.
Paul in Franklin. What's up, Paul?
Good morning, Paul.
Hey, good morning, brothers. How y'all doing?
We are. Good morning.
Hey, first of all, I ain't been hiding out on y'all. I ain't called you in a little while because I've been busy at work. I don't have the typical 9-to-5 job.
Okay.
So this time of year, I'm kind of busy at what I do. But
are you Santa?
No, I ain't Santa.
Okay.
I'm actually are you ready for this?
Come on, talk to us.
You don't get this every day. I'm actually a lieutenant in a maximum security prison.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So now you can understand Big Ragu how I get fired up sometimes. Prison made me that way, bro.
Right.
I've been working in prison for over 20 years.
See, that's why Jason's daughters act the way she does because he got her behind that prison like baby bed. Okay.
Anyway, well, I don't have a typical 9-to-5 job. This time of year we busy at a lot of the institutions, but I wanted to call you all. This has got less to do with sports than, hey, man, I just want to wish y'all two both a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, dude.
Thank you.
Well, I appreciate that, brother. You too.
Cousin Paul.
Heck, yeah, I was going into work this morning, and I ain't called them two rascals, and I'm going to call them. I call y'all all the time, and I want to wish y'all Merry Christmas, dude.
Cousin Paul, you can't quit us.
Oh, hell no, I ain't going to do that. Oh, heck no, I ain't going to do that. All right, man. I'll let y'all go. Y'all take care.
Merry Christmas, brother.
Merry Christmas.
808. Hell no. 808.
Write it down, Shay.
I heard it too. I was going to ask you to timestamp that one.
Hell no.
I mean, heck.
By the way, I got to grab Ron Slade doing a Scooby-Doo impression at 411 from yesterday.
I saw that pop up on Twitter.
Nephew Sally put that on Twitter. Now I have people just giving me times of the day and being like, Shave! Slade did something goofy. Go get it. All right. Let me finish my early bird dinner here.
The kangaroo is killing me, though. We'll get back to that because go ahead. You can answer the call, Shay.
Cousin Joey is on the line. Joey, what's going on?
What's up, my fam?
Hey.
First off, Ramon with your basketball team, even a blind squirrel finds a nut every now and again.
Grazes on him.
But JMart, man, if you want, my dad actually runs a car lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he does. They're in Rivergate. I'm not going to say the name on air because I don't want to, violate anything. But if you want, I can give his information to Shafe afterwards. You can call him up and see what he can do for you, and I'll tell him you're going to call him, and I'll make sure he gives you a great deal.
Get his information, Shafe. Get his information. I will take you up on that, Joey. This is what was funny. No, I'm not going to say that.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm not.
Come on.
I was going to say, is he going to help me find a car? Because I'm not sure Joey's driving very much.
Don't take his number down, Shay.
That's not.
Don't take his number down, not even a little bit.
I didn't mean it that way.
You say he's, by the way, Cousin Joey's has some vision problems, okay? And Jason said he's driving down the street with his walking stick. That's what you basically said this morning. What is wrong? We met him in person.
He's a great guy. I'm just saying, I was just like, I don't know. It was going to worry. Let's just say this. It was going to worry me if Joey said, I don't like how that one drives. Like, which street are you on? Because I'm not sure I need to be on that street.
You ain't even wish that man a Merry Christmas yet, and you out just throwing jokes out, Jay.
Hey, Joey, you still there?
Yep.
I'm still here, brother.
Merry Christmas, brother.
Merry Christmas, my fam. Hey, yo, and one real thing, y'all are my crack for the morning start.
Hey.
I can't get my day started without listening to y'all first.
Well, you got to pull your pants up.
I thought he was talking about drugs, but never mind. All right.
Put your drawers in the crack of your ass.
Listen.
He said, we is crack. That's one heck of a start. This ain't the 80s. Or is it?
Crack is whack.
Crack is whack. All while they was doing it. God.
Titus is on line one. Titus, go right ahead.
What's up, Titus?
Hey, what's going on? I was calling about, how I think we got snubbed on this Pro Bowl selection, especially on our defensive side of the ball.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, okay, back to the snubs. Did you snipe him?
I think he was done.
So, back.
I don't know what else to do.
Ron texted me and asked me, do players vote on this too? So this process of picking this, the fan base is awesome. What the NFL is missing the mark on with this, though, is they got to actually make the fans' vote count a little bit more when it comes down to it. Because there's some guys who have some favorites that have been playing really well. Because I've been in those rooms where they ask us, they come in and can you write down your favorites for the show and stuff like that, or favorites for the season. And guys look at their list. We're sitting in rooms like, who was here? Oh, yeah, he like – it's so many under-the-radar guys that deserve to make these Pro Bowls. And I ain't going to say all pro because it's actually that's actually voted on by people that, watch the game and study the game. With this award of Pro Bowl, they got to have a better way. Have a council of people to say, hey, yeah, or a council of players that says, yes, that guy deserves it this year because he outplayed, let's say, Quentin Nelson. Like, that's a situation right there where Quentin's going to make it every single year. But Quentin's not going to make All-Pro every single year, though. Right. So how does it add up? That's the most confusing part of it all. I did see a situation this year where a guy like James Conner, who needed a big-time bounce-back year, actually made the Pro Bowl. But I don't think you could have hit him on the NFC side. But again, on the other side, Kamara made it. He missed like 4 games this year. I don't think that's right. There's possibly another running back out there that could have made the Pro. Now, that's good for the University of Tennessee. That's good for him.
That's just because you know his team. Talent.
I know, but
and I mean, if somebody had distinguished themselves, maybe that would change it up. Maybe there's just not a lot of great running backs in NFC this year.
And you
can point to. Like the other thing is a lot of backs in the NFC have been hurt. So, David Montgomery missed time. Elijah Mitchell's going to miss time tonight. He's not going to play in that game. And they lost Raheem Mostert at the beginning of the year. Fournette is out right now. Dalvin Cook missed a couple of games this year because Madison played in his spot. Saquon didn't do much, but when he has been out there, like you go through the list, there's not a lot of backs that have played full seasons where you feel like good about them. Like think about the Rams running game. Nobody, right? Seattle's running game. Nobody, right? Arizona's not really anybody there. Detroit's, no. They were a two-headed monster. Then Swift got hurt. The Bears, again, Montgomery has been banged up at different times this year. Green Bay, Aaron Jones has been banged up.
He's been banged up also.
As well this year. Like, if you look across the NFC, it's basically a hospital ward.
It is. Okay, so Big Jeff, before we get into this break, as far as him beating out DeForest Buckner, he should have. And their team is fire hot right now, though, too. But run stuffs, Big Jeff, 10-4 on Buckner. Stops in general, 43-40 to Buckner. QB pressures, 48-37. Jeff's outplaying him at every single stat that goes to D-line. Quarterback pressure percentages, 10.6 to 9.1. And then, of course, the biggest measuring stick of it all, sacks, 7.5 to 6.5. Jeff beats him in every category. Somewhere the metric is screwed up to where this should be an easy flip, and it's not going to be. How they're going to take it serious, I don't know. Maybe it needs to be, our team have leadership councils. There needs to be a leadership as far as a council as far as who picks what when it comes down to the players' vote.
Well, the Colts got more guys than anybody in the NFL. They had 7 guys in the Pro Bowl. I think every fan that's ever cheered for the Colts voted for everybody. And a lot of those guys are great. We already knew they had a great roster. They just had a quarterback issue.
Are they a big market?
No.
Still crazy.
No. They're just, they do have a lot of big time. Let's go to Joey on line 1. Joey, what's up?
Hey, guys, I just had to share this. I live in a very rural area, and I take my Mennonite neighbors' children to school. And I know how petty and, in your own words, petty and dirty-minded you all could be. I just met a guy named Peter Wenger, and I just had to share that. I won't take up any more of your time. Thanks, guys.
Teresa Walker is next, 1045 The Zone.
Imagine if the first way we did things was the only way, because somebody told you, well, sir, that's how we've always done it. Well, that's what happens when you sell your home too. You list it and you got to keep it show ready, and that's a headache because you never know when somebody want to drop by, or you have people marching through your home just to check out the decor. They're really not serious about buying your home anyway. They just want to be nosy, as my mom would like to say. And this goes on and on and on until the right buyer comes along. Well, that's ended now. And it's Ramon Foster. I want to tell you what I did. I went to opendoor.com and I put in my address and my home info, gave my email, and let me tell you this, I got an offer back in no time. Seriously, it was no listings, no strangers, no stress. Open Door gives you a real competitive offer in minutes. Just go to opendoor.com/WGFX and get your free offer. Open Door is the new way to sell without all the hassles of a traditional home selling. You'll know what you are getting, and you can decide when you want to close, if you want to close. Go to opendoor.com/WGFX and get your free offer today. That's opendoor.com/WGFX. Offer eligibility version. Open Door is represented by Open Door Brokerage, Inc., license 02061130 in California, and Open Door Brokerage, LLC in its other markets. Peter.
Welcome back, JMart and Ramon, 104.5 The Zone. Powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors in Nashville. Joined by 11-year NFL veteran involved for life, Ramon Foster and Jonathan Schaefer. I'm Jason Martin at Ramon Foster, at Schaefer on Sports, at JMart Radio, at JMart and Ramon. I just tweeted this from at JMart Radio. Most money coming in on the Niners to cover. They're streaking. They just put the most guys in the Pro Bowl from the NFC. 5. ESPN analysts Mike Tannenbaum and Dan Graziano this morning said the Niners are now the outside the box NFC team that could make a legit Super Bowl run. Titans have O-line issues. We don't know what you're going to get from Julio. How healthy is A.J. Brown? What's he going to be able to do tonight? Is Tannehill everything's trending in one direction.
Mm-hmm.
So Tennessee wins because that's usually how this works. This is the game Vrabel always wins, right?
Yep.
Isn't this the one?
It is the one.
The one everybody's going the opposite direction. This is the one the Titans always win.
It's this, but when you look at the roster right now, it says a lot. By the way, that linebacker that I said was going to be out is actually questionable now. Azeez Al-Shaair, he's questionable right now. So he's probably going to play tonight.
Let's go to the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline. The Queen, Teresa Walker, is back from IR. Buck Rising, I think, was the one that broke that news. Teresa, how are you?
Morning.
I am good. And glad to be back from IR and couldn't agree with you guys much more. I mean, the one thing we've seen in Mike Vrabel's tenure as head coach is he gets this team, finds something that when their backs are against the wall, there's games that they absolutely have no business winning. They find ways to, whether it was again his second game as a head coach against the Houston Texans, where they do the, Kevin Byard with the pass on the punt for a touchdown and things that they, that's the day that the Wildcat with Derrick Henry debuted. And they just seem to find plays to help this team, find an edge to get over the hump. And, the one thing that we've seen this team in his tenure do is be resilient, be tough, and be able to find that je ne sais quoi, as it were. And, right now they understand where they're at. They know that their margin in the AFC is slipping, and the Colts are driving, and, just like the 49ers. But the one thing, this season of all seasons, there is not a team that has just simply been dominant. We thought it was the Arizona Cardinals. They're starting to struggle. And that's the thing. Nobody has just put their hammer down and said, this is my season in the NFL. Maybe it's the 17th game. Maybe it's just COVID. Maybe, who knows what it is. But, it seems like there's a fairly even, equal playing field in the NFL this year. So tonight, I'm not betting against the Titans. I'll just say that.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. The only game they've won in a month, right, is Jacksonville. So everything is trending against them, which Vrabel, I think, quietly, he's just like, yep, you go ahead and count us out. We'll see how that goes for you. But Ryan Tannehill, how do you assess what he has been doing without weapons, and what do you expect him to potentially look like tonight with some of his weapons back?
Well, considering that, he didn't complete a pass longer than 18 yards Sunday in Pittsburgh, if A.J. Brown is back, if Julio is able to go, and he's a go on the injury report, you got to think you're going to have a better chance. The way you compensate for not having Taylor Lewan and Roger Saffold is you do a little bit more max protect and stuff. Well, you can do that when you've got Jones and A.J. Brown available. So that will give him a chance to maybe take those shots and stretch him down the field. Guys, the thing that's been the Titans' biggest problem in this last month in all three losses is their own inability to hold on to the ball. Other than that, 270 yards rushing in New England, 201 yards rushing in Pittsburgh. They've had chances to take the lead in New England on the road, a game that if they hold on to the ball, they could have had a chance to win that game. They shoulda, coulda, woulda in Pittsburgh, again, except for the turnovers. And now, yes, Tannehill, he was the guy who was picked over and over and over again in the rain in the loss to the Houston Texans when they had 5 turnovers that day. But that's the thing. If they can hold on to the ball, they've been doing everything else right in this last month.
And that's one part that's going to be kind of challenging tonight, though, considering you have Nick Bosa and you don't have Taylor Lewan tonight. Now, I know guys step up in very, serious situations, and I expect Kendall Lamb to kind of do that. But you got to acknowledge Eric Armstead and Nick Bosa could have a good night depending on, how good the O-line does and how much they need to step it up.
Oh, absolutely, Ramon, because – and that's the thing. Last week we saw it. They knew that Roger Saffold was out. Where did the Steelers go immediately on that first play of the game? Right up the left guard. So, these guys have to be absolutely ready. But that's where Ryan Tannehill can help them out.
Yeah.
Get the ball out quick. That's the one thing. He has been a decisive quarterback in his career. Yes, I know that the interceptions are matching his touchdowns this year. And, he's the guy who's probably, has turned the ball over more than anybody. The 14 interceptions, and I think he's got a team-high 9 fumbles. 4 of those have been lost. So, it's going to be incumbent on him to play his best game of the season tonight, considering the guys who aren't going to be in front of him.
When you look at this team and this offense specifically, I feel like the defense, as much as we talked about them last year, they are not the topic of conversation this year. But offensively, one area that's kind of been lacking, I think, as far as production has been tight end. Are you a little shocked by that, considering how big Jonnu was here and, of course, the fanfare of wanting him to stick around, but said, no, we got Ferkser. And, there's really been no person, as you said, about NFL teams that said, this is my year.
Yeah, that was the big question coming into the season was had they done enough at tight end to replace Jonnu? And, at this point, you got to say the answer is no. Ferkser has not been, he's not taken the step that I think they hoped he would take with more playing time. I don't know if it's because he had the injury early and just hasn't quite gotten back right. Jeff Swaim has had moments where he's looked like maybe he could step up and be that guy. And, then he gets hurt and, it's been lacking, and at the end, when we write the reviews of this season, it may very well come down to the fact that they did not do enough to address receiver and tight end for this offense to give them the help. I mean, think about this. When Derrick Henry goes out of the lineup, goes on IR with a broken right foot, everyone's like, oh, they're not going to be able to run the ball. No, they've found ways to run the ball with Dontrell Hilliard, Deontay Foreman. That's not been a problem. But where this offense is definitely different from the last couple of years is getting the ball down the field in the passing game.
Pro Bowl, Teresa. Obviously, some Titans fans, a lot of Titans fans, wanted to see more than one name. Kevin Byard certainly deserved it, no question about that. But how do you look at guys like Landry or Big Jeff, certainly, and assess should they have made it over some of the people that did, or do you just get in a spot where, look, it was a crowded field and somebody wasn't going to make it, and unfortunately the Titans came up on the short end of that stick?
Well, it's combination. Some of it is name recognition. I mean, Jeff Simmons, I thought he had a Pro Bowl season this year. Cam Hayward is a guy who's got a lot of name recognition in the NFL. And as good as Jeff Simmons' season has been, the last month, as good as they've been defensively, the sacks have kind of petered out a little bit. And, if he had gone forward, gotten to double digits, might have helped his candidacy. It's really tough when you're fighting against some of those guys who've been Pro Bowlers, to break through the noise and establish your candidacy. I will say this, keep an eye out for the AP All-Pro team after the season because, there was, Kevin Byard, there was a time where he was an All-Pro, was not a Pro Bowler. So the people who vote for the AP All-Pro, we know. I'm not one of those voters, but the folks who vote for us, they know who should go.
Yeah, and that's what's so interesting about it. So if you're viewing your team and we've gotten the comments and everything else, you got a similar team that you're leading in your division have 7 players making. Now, I know they got Quentin and they got DeForest and they got Leonard. Like, they got name recognition, as you say. But should you be a little ticked off about your guys not having a year when you got Harold Landry with double-digit sacks, you got Jeff doing his thing on national TV, and I'm just trying to figure out where should you sit with, your guys, let's say, being snubbed.
Well, here's the thing, Moan. It gives them a bit of a chip on their shoulder because it's like, we know what kind of a season that they've had.
Mm-hmm.
But, when you haven't been a Pro Bowler, your team has to continue playing out. And here's the thing. The Colts have kept this up. They've been on a nice streak. And that's one of those things. Darius Leonard was a Pro Bowler last year. So was Quentin Nelson. DeForest Buckner is a guy who people know his name. And you kind of have to, to break through that Pro Bowl noise, which is sad because Jeff Simmons was second in the fan voting at his position. Would have thought that would have been enough to help push him through. You kind of have to break open the door in a way and have a season that says, I'm here. You have to pay attention to me. And if I'm remembering correctly, under the Pro Bowl rules this year, if you're on IR, you didn't get any attention. I mean, think about this. Nick Chubb is right ahead of Derrick Henry in the rushing yardage, and yet Derrick Henry hasn't played since Halloween. That in itself, his start to the season, in my opinion, deserves some Pro Bowl recognition because he was on his way to another 2,000-yard season until the broken foot.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's all fair.
Yeah.
What do you think, in what you've been able to see and who you've been able to talk to, what do you think AJ can get you tonight if you're the Titans? And then past that, do you think Julio, we know he's going to start it, but does he actually finish this game? Because that's also been a problem. He's gone in for a half, and then we don't see him again in the second half, and we find out he's had a nagging concern. And that's just, I know, been frustrating for fans that wanted to see more from him.
Well, totally frustrating, and I can't. Grab a magic 8-ball for an answer on Julio Jones. You would like to hope that we're at a crunch time of the season. They are at a point where they need to win games to make sure they get in the playoffs. Something that seemed absolutely, there was not a question at when they beat the Colts in Indianapolis October 31st. This team was going to the playoffs. It was only a question of how far would they be going. Now they have to do something to make sure in these final 3 games, needing a combination of 2 wins or a loss, a win, something from the Colts. They have work to do to get to the playoffs. So these are the games that you need Julio Jones. But it's a hamstring. You just never know. Saw him out on the practice field Tuesday. He didn't, he was watching. He didn't do anything. And, he was a DNP on the practice report, went fully yesterday. They're trying to nurse him through and keep that hamstring so that he is available. We just don't know. The good thing with AJ, guys, even though he's missed 3 games and we're all expecting him to be activated at 3:00 today, he had the bye week in there. So he's had kind of a few extra days, even though this is a short week with the Thursday night game. Ryan Tannehill said that it's a tough injury that he's dealing with. He kind of took a helmet to the chest. So if it is ribs, all the reports were that the X-rays were negative. Well, you're a wide receiver. You've got to be able to breathe running up and down the field.
Yeah.
But A.J. Brown is a tough guy. Remember how he played through knee injuries last year. So if he's out there, I'm not questioning his ability to deliver as needed.
So let's go extreme real quick. You mentioned, getting that second Colts win, and you're like, a little breathing room here. Now, they're in a situation where the Titans have lost 3 of the last 4, and the teams that we thought were going to breeze through have actually picked it up a little bit, including Miami. And now that, I've even heard from Titans guys, you just never know what's going to happen in Houston the second time around. If, and I'm saying big if, this team doesn't make the playoffs, what's going to be the conversation? And I know injuries is at the forefront of it, but can you imagine that topic right there?
Oh, yeah, it'll be brutal because this team, when healthy, we saw them with what they did winning their first 7 games against 2020 playoff opponents, the way they beat the Bills, the Chiefs, the win at the Rams. This is a team that could have gone to L.A. and won the Super Bowl. And, yes, injuries played a toll, but some of the decisions of the front office have absolutely limited their ability to bounce back from some of the injuries.
Mm-hmm.
Dylan Radins was a second-round pick, and a guy who should have been helping on this offensive line a whole lot more because he played 1 game last year. You take a guy like that, and he's not ready to play immediately in a second-round pick. That did not help. The Isaiah Wilson botched pick is coming back to play because, again, another guy who should be helping at least on depth and making sure this offensive line doesn't miss anything when somebody does go out, that plays a part. Wide receiver, tight end, not filling those spots enough apparently. They seem to have absolutely fixed the secondary. The linebacking area is improved. That defense, they fixed that in an off season with no problem whatsoever. But the offense, they didn't do enough. And, if Derrick Henry's healthy the entire year, that probably, would have been enough. Unfortunately, the NFL doesn't play like that.
So I know we started this by saying one thing about the Titans. Now pick the game. Who actually wins the game tonight?
Because I've seen it happen so many times, I'm going with the Titans finding a way to win. And I think this defense is going to help them. Maybe they get a couple of turnovers early. Maybe they get a sack or something early that helps set the tone, get the ball back. But this offense, when they get in the red zone, they've got to score. And having Julio, having A.J. Brown, hopefully is the key to helping them break through what's been an issue the last few games. Guys, I'm going to say Titans 24-21.
I don't disagree.
That's under the Vegas over-under.
I just want it to be watchable, Teresa. That game Sunday, it might have been dramatic because of the way it ended, but that was not a fun game to watch. I want this one to be a little bit more fun to watch.
JMart, Jason, I'm just going to say this. It's December, and you don't always get pretty games in December.
Yeah.
Especially not with a team that has played an NFL record 87 different players.
Well, you are bringing down my interest level. I saw the Matrix Resurrection, so you can't make me feel any lower than I already feel right now. Please don't watch that movie. I know you love movies. Do not watch the new Matrix film. Don't do it. Watch anything else. Literally anything else. It's horrible.
Well, I'm just saying, it's December. The only thing that matters this time of the year, go win the game.
There you go. It's Teresa Walker, the queen. I'm telling you, I'm giving you a PSA out there, folks. Don't do it. Do not, under any circumstances. If you have to, no, I'm not going to say anything short of self-harm. Do that instead of watching The Matrix Resurrection.
Jeez. All right. How do you really feel?
You know exactly how I really feel.
I think you just said it.
Just saw Louis Riddick on TV say the biggest threat to Aaron Rodgers for MVP is Jonathan Taylor. So it's the thing. It's down to him, and it looks like it's down to Rodgers and Taylor for MVP. If you look at NFL.com and the way executives are talking, how do you feel about that? If you're a Titans fan, can you accept the fact that it's Derrick Henry who paved the way potentially for a running back not named Derrick Henry to win the MVP because of injury? We'll be right back. JMart and Ramon, 104.5 The Zone. Hey, if you are looking to finally go from renting to owning, you might be wondering, what's the state of the market? Because all I hear is a house goes on sale and then it's already bought before you can even look at it. Well, if you're a first-time home buyer especially, you're just thinking, maybe I don't have a chance at this. You don't if you're doing it by yourself. I'm going to be honest with you. But there are people out there that can help. Mortgage Investors Group can be here for you every single step of the way to get you into that first home, to get you pre-qualified before you ever start looking. That's going to give you that bargaining power you got to have. It's going to help you close quicker. That's how you can become that entire thing that you've been thinking about. It's like, the house is gone in a day. You could be the one that's done that, and somebody else could be thinking about it. If you get pre-qualified, you will get moving. Mortgage Investors Group, committed to helping Tennesseans like you and your family fulfill your dreams of home ownership. Their mortgage experts can find and structure the mortgage that best fits your needs and best achieves your goals. And if you're already in the house you want to be in, maybe you're not in the rate that you want to be in, they can do that for you too. Mortgage Investors Group wants to be your home loan lender. Let Mortgage Investors Group work for you. Go to migonline.com. migonline.com. Get that advice. Get the pre-qualification process started. See what they can do for you Offices to serve you in Brentwood and Hendersonville and Cool Springs. Somewhere near you, MIG has you covered. MIGonline.com or text these 3 letters, MIG to 31399 to get pre-qualified and get moving with my friends at Mortgage Investors Group. Equal housing lender, license number 109111. JMart and Ramon, 104.5 Sun. Thanks to Teresa Walker, the queen. See, I'm with her. I know it's because it sounds like you should pick the 49ers.
Yeah.
I guess I'm giving up the prediction, but this is the game the Titans always win. It just is. And if Mike wants to go with the underdog mentality, today I'm with him. Today everybody seems to be counting the Titans out. If you just kind of look at the way the trend lines are moving and everything people are saying about the Niners right now, this is the game the Titans always win. Now, we could come in tomorrow and I could say, well, usually they always win it, but right now things are broken.
Yeah.
But this is the game they win. And until further notice, I'm not picking against Vrabel in a game like this.
That left side bothers me
a lot of it bothers me. Let's go to, this is interesting.
Yeah.
Little Ron has called in apparently to talk to me. So it is Little Ron, meaning of Big Ron fame. Little Ron, welcome to the program. How are you?
How are you two, so?
Doing well.
Baby Ball, what you got to tell him?
Okay. Yo, JMart, I gotta tell you something. I am gonna watch Matrix in the movie,
okay.
and there is no way that you're gonna stop me to watch Matrix, because I will. I seen Matrix the old days a long time ago, and then I'm prepared to watch it, and I like that movie, and I'm gonna like it because it's made of war worlds. They did secret agents, spies, and stuff. Very quick. Happy New Year.
Thank you, Little Ron. So here's the thing. From the bottom of my heart, Little Ron, I hope you love it. Anybody that said, there've been people be like, "Oh man, you're dashing my expectations." Hey, I hope you think I'm wrong when you see it. I never want to be right when it comes to something being terrible, and you won't find a bigger fan of the Matrix trilogy than me. I even liked the third film. Loved it. Saw it 3 times the first day it came out.
You were the only one.
Apparently. I read books on it. I wrote about it. The first film is literally the reason that I bought a DVD player. I asked my parents, because I was in college at the time. I was like, hey, can you help me out? I just want this one movie. That's it. And I just saw this movie, and I just realized real quickly they didn't want to do this, which they've been on record in the past saying they want to do it. And they basically look at you throughout the movie, and they're like, we told you we didn't want to do this. So now we're going to rub your face in it. That's what it feels like. It is the buzzkill of buzzkills. It's just a terrible movie. But I hope that you think that I'm dead wrong about that.
Baby
Truly.
Ball can't wait.
I hope he loves it.
Mind you, he gets on me for missing birthdays.
Well, he should. You missed Kiefer Sutherland yesterday. I'm so distressed by the Kiefer Sutherland miss yesterday that I haven't even looked. This is the time for birthdays, and I don't even have them pulled up.
Yesterday was the first day I ever saw the Zone chat go away from Ramon.
Yeah, because they're in the tank for you all the time.
You actually lost them yesterday.
I lost them yesterday.
I couldn't believe it. You actually lost them.
And they wanted to support me. They gave me flowers before I even answered.
They did. They were supporting you, and then all of a sudden it just and everything just stopped.
And I know exactly who Kiefer Sutherland is. I know exactly who he is.
I mean, after you saw the photo.
Yeah, of course.
Moan, Eddie Vedder is 57.
Eddie Vedder, Family Matters.
That's Eddie Winslow. And his real name's Darius McCrary.
Darius McCrary. Ooh, yeah, some sticky articles.
Yeah, so I heard. So I heard. It was a lot easier for him when he was in the opening credits of Family Matters in the produce section working at the grocery store. Remember that? He would always toss like the orange in the air and look at the camera and smile. Not anymore.
Wait.
What happened?
What happened?
He's had some unfavorable articles come out, man. What happened? But that's his preference, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm not going to look it up in the company Wi-Fi.
Don't look it up in the personal Wi-Fi.
Off air.
Want to give another guess on Eddie Vedder, Moan?
Eddie Vedder, Titanic.
Lead singer of Pearl Jam, Moan.
Oh, my God.
Harry Shearer.
That's how he
78.
That's how it sounds.
Harry Shearer is 78 and insanely rich.
He's not going to know.
Trading places.
No, that's a nice
Close?
guess.
It's not terrible.
I like the guess.
Adam's Family?
Now you're getting worse.
Oh, that was worse. Inglourious Bastards.
No.
Harry Shearer, many voices on The Simpsons.
Oh.
And he's part of the Christopher Guest troupe, which wouldn't help you either.
Spinal Tap.
Spinal Tap would be the one that let off that stuff.
Sounds awful.
Also on Saturday Night Live, I
Yeah,
think,
he
for a
was.
year.
Very
Was
short
he?
time. That didn't really last very long.
That's why I said
Was he
a year.
not good?
Finn Wolfhard is 19.
What? That's
Finn
not a
Wolfhard?
real name.
Yeah, it is.
It is
I know
not.
a kid named Finn.
Finn Wolfhard?
No, not Wolfhard. Some TikTok star. Is he the new Spider-Man?
He's Mike Wheeler in Stranger Things.
I have no idea.
He's the main character. He's also in It.
Is Stranger Things really that good?
Yeah, it's good.
It's that good.
It's good. It's a lot of fun, man.
Okay.
I'm not going to front. It's a heck of a lot of fun. Victor Martinez, 43, man.
Baseball player.
Good. That doesn't count because it's sports, but I just saw it pop up. Susan Lucci, 75.
Yeah, and she's the founder of Gucci. You knew where I was going when you said that last name. You knew who it is.
No, I did not.
That sounded right.
I'm glad you went with that and not something else that rhymes with Lucci.
Phrasing.
Going back to our phone call from earlier.
What was the guy name again?
Her name is Susan Lucci.
No, I was talking about Peter Wanker.
You do that a lot.
I think it was Wanger.
Wanger.
Not that it makes that much difference.
I don't know about that.
It's Thursday. It's game day.
Susan
okay?
Lucci, famous soap opera actress, Mom. Fourth hour of the show is coming up. Dave McGinnis will join us.
I'm on Mac Attack.
Final, if you got thoughts on Pro Bowl, I see Gerard is on the line. We'll get to him in Amarillo after the top of the hour headlines. And if you want to talk about the Pro Bowl, we can. If you want to predict Titans 49ers, you can do that as well. Final hour on this game day is the next. JMart and Ramon, 104.5 The Zone. They time out these calls really well.
Would you like to stop your phone so you can do your job?
I did. Here's a few questions you should ask yourself. Is your heating system ready for this cold weather? Is it around 10 years old? Is it providing the best possible air quality for your home? If it's time to replace your heating system, then you probably woke up cold this morning because we were in the 20s in terms of feels like temperatures. But your friends at Lee Company are making it easier than ever to fix your problem. Call today. Take advantage of Lee Company's exceptional HVAC financing offer. Special financing for 5 years, up to 60 months or up to $1,250 off select high-efficiency systems. You've been looking for a last-second gift for the entire family? Here it is. HVAC with good financing, up to 60 months, $1,250 off select high-efficiency systems. That means you're going to save money down the road. That's how you should always read efficiency, is it's going to save you in the wallet. Call Lee Company today. Learn all about their current financing and service special offers, and let's stay warm this winter. 615-567-1000. That's 615-567-1000 or online at leecompany.com/promotions.
It is 9:03. Good morning. I'm Jonathan Schaefer. Tennessee Titans will be without their starting left tackle and starting left guard tonight when they host the San Francisco 49ers in Nissan Stadium. Taylor Lewan out due to a back injury. Roger Saffold is on the reserve COVID-19 list. Meanwhile, Julio Jones expected to be in the lineup. A.J. Brown projected to play as well. Lee Company countdown to kickoff begins at 5 o'clock tonight. Kickoff is set for 7:20 with Mike Keith and Dave McGinnis. Number 19, Tennessee upset number 6, Arizona last night in basketball. John Fulkerson, 24 points and 10 rebounds to lead the Vols to a 77-73 win at Thompson Bowling Arena.
Fulkerson gets the inbounds pass in the corner, drives against Tabellis, goes up with the left hand and scores. Just took him across the lane.
He would not be denied. Big Fulky.
He was not a double-double for Fulky. The Vols improved to 9-2 while handing Arizona its first loss of the season back to the NFL. Titans only one Pro Bowl selection. That was with safety Kevin Byard. Neither defensive end Jeffrey Simmons or linebacker Harold Landry were picked for the Pro Bowl. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Music. What's happening? 4th hour, hashtag fastest 4 hours in radio. And I got dealerships calling me in the middle of live reads right during the intro. I know they're listening to the show.
Mm-hmm. You put it out there, Jay. Here it comes, man.
JMart and Ramon here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors, allfourseasonsgarages.com. Go there. 11-year NFL veteran involved for life, Ramon Foster, Jonathan Schaefer, and Jason Martin, at JMartin Ramon on Twitter. How about we give away tickets to the Music City Bowl?
Come on now.
5th caller. Don't buy tickets to the Gator Bowl, though, because you're about to get Wake Forest and Rutgers.
Switch the team up.
2 former Tennessee coaches there.
Look at it.
Dave Clawson and Greg Schiano.
Look at that dynamic right there. Wow.
Did you catch what I just did?
Hey, I'm proud of them for finessing the system. It happens like that sometimes.
You really think I'll be listening to you?
He missed it totally.
No, I heard it. I'm just not going to pay attention to it at all. That's right there at the bottom of the barrel bowl. But, hey, salute to the kids, though. Cloud fence, yay.
I'm not even talking about Clawson.
Are you talking about Schiano? Schiano?
Yes, you were talking about Clawson because you mentioned Wake Forest.
Yeah, you mentioned Wake Forest.
I was talking about Schiano. I said 2 former Tennessee coaches.
Right, and you mentioned, right, but one of them's
apparently he
Clawson
was hired at the time. The one, yeah, he know the one.
Oh, I get the Schiano joke.
I had no.
Now that I've had to explain it this much, it didn't work.
It didn't.
I was hoping
didn't work out the way you thought it does.
Should have worn the Clawson shirt. Almost did. It was underneath this one. I almost grabbed it.
You should have. Well, we could have ripped it off.
I'm gonna wear it tomorrow.
You are the Grinch, huh?
Live action. On Twitter, at JMart Ramon. NFL.com, top 15 Pro Bowl snubs.
Yeah.
Only one listed for the Titans is Big Jeff.
No, it's not.
No, he's the only one listed.
Not on NFL.com?
Yes, he is.
No,
There's honorable mention for Harold Landry.
No, there's somebody you're missing in the middle. Derrick Henry's on that list.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I forgot about that. But
that is a demerit.
You kind of eye-rolled that one.
Who I wrote? No, the article has a great point. He's been missing for a month and a half, and
he's still top 5 and all
yeah.
this. Yeah, I mean, still the best running back in the league, but
it's pretty much what Kamara did.
He has not missed anywhere near as much as.
I know, but what I'm saying as far as missing games, that was always a big proponent to me. Like, if we're up to week 16 or week 15 right now, it really goes into you can't miss more than 2 games and still get in. It's the way I view it, but that's just me. That's just me, man.
I think Jeff's a snub. I think you put him in over Buckner, even though I really like Buckner. 10-4 in run stuffs, 43-40 in stops, 48-37 quarterback pressures, 10.6, 9.1 quarterback pressure percentage, sacks 7.5 to 6.5. I would have put Jeff in.
You know what I thought of immediately after seeing he didn't make it? And seeing the fan conversation on Twitter? Delaney Walker.
Oh, his comments?
His comments. As brutal as that may sound. Now, until you get to the point where you get a championship or you're always in the AFC, championship game, that part right there sticks out, and it hurts to actually say that because I'm from this state too. I cover this team now, and this team has been good for the last few years, and it's got a lot of history too. So you got to ask yourself, how do you get out of the middle of the South and make this team more prominent? Do you care that it's not more prominent? Because, again, I'm looking at Indy. Is Indianapolis a smaller city than what Nashville is? They also have Super Bowls or a recent Super Bowl.
Well, the thing with Indy, it's not a market thing. They're a little bigger than Nashville in a market, but that's not. Again, they call it Nap City for a reason. It's what media call it across the board because it's a boring city with nothing to do.
I just thought it was a cool name.
Indianapolis?
Naptown.
No, it's called Nap City because you go there. Yeah, you go there, you check into your hotel, and you nap before the game if you're covering it there because there's nothing to do in Indianapolis.
God. Well, that's what Burrow said about Cincinnati last night. He was like, the reason I don't have COVID outbreak is because there's nowhere to go in Cincinnati. I was like, God, dog, that's brutal, but hey, shout out to y'all.
But this is the thing with the Colts.
Big.
The Colts have this long history going back to Unitas and being a name that was very synonymous with the NFL.
Very true.
Then they got Peyton Manning, who was maybe the face of the league for a long, long time.
12, 13
and one
years.
of the greatest players to ever live.
Mm-hmm.
And still a celebrity today.
Yep.
So they were relevant for a long time. They won a Super Bowl. They were winning double-digit games every year. They had stars like a Reggie Wayne, like a Harvin Marison, guys like that were out there making plays. Then they went to Andrew Luck, who was the highest-rated quarterback prospect since Elway. They've had some guy box office-wise at the most important position in American team sports more often than not in the last 25 years. And as a result, more people had to pay attention to them because of a Peyton Manning. And then it just kind of gets ingrained. Like, why would you think about, what's one of the smallest markets in the league? Green Bay.
Green Bay.
But Green Bay is going to get a ton of love because of history, tradition, Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, in terms of just this generation. I think you can look to small markets and say, well, who were some of their stars? If you were there long enough to become entrenched, you kind of sort of become NFL royalty. And unfortunately for the Titans, that never happened because it was short-lived and they, came from Houston. It's not like being the Colts name, even though this Colts is not the original Colts and there was the move and all these things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the Colts name has been around for a long time.
I've been saying all year, as the Titans, you compare yourself to where the Saints were at when Drew Brees and Sean Payton came to town. Now, the Hurricane Katrina aspect, of course, there's a lot more eyes on there. That's a huge part of that story. But that's where you can be eventually. And not just having 9 and 7 seasons, but winning and winning big. And the Titans are on the verge of doing that. Because, again, before Derek got hurt, it was Derrick Henry in all the headlines. It was. Before he got hurt. And when they were number one in the AFC, and they were beating the brakes off people, and they were rolling, especially after that Rams game, and they were rolling, the Titans are at the tip of everybody's tongue.
So the last biggest draft that the Titans have had, other than as far as like top 5 picks, was Corey, and let's go
Marcus.
Vince. Marcus was top 5? What was he?
He was number 2.
He was number
2.
Dog.
And they missed.
Okay, so that's where I'm going. I went back to 2006 draft. I'm trying to see, Mario Williams, Reggie Bush, Vince Young.
Mm-hmm.
That's the turn. That's where you needed to hit with a guy to continue that, what you said, that Peyton Manning, that Green Bay, that Pittsburgh, that who's had a quarterback, Drew Brees finally going to the Saints. Did it start with Vince as far as the misses?
If Vince had hit, we'd be having potentially a different discussion about the franchise.
Because you went from McNair?
Correct. That's the point, is you had McNair and Eddie George, and you were one of those teams. You could be the Ravens. The Ravens are seen in a certain way. And unfortunately for them, it's not a quarterback thing. Because, Flacco was one thing. But until Lamar, Flacco was never regarded
had a
like
lot
he was
of
Peyton
support.
Manning. He did, but the thing about the Ravens was their defense became box office.
Yeah, it did.
Because of Ray Lewis, because of Ed Reed,
Suggs.
because of Terrell Suggs.
And all the linebackers.
They had a fleet of guys that became marketable defensively.
And Baltimore ain't a huge market either as far as the city goes.
It's not, but it's not.
But
a
it's
small
known
market.
in the football world.
It's not New York. Yes.
So, because we don't talk about the Orioles.
Again, the Baltimore Colts. Baltimore's synonymous. It's been there for a long time. Again, this is not saying this is right.
Right.
I've always been trying to find a way to explain when people mention market size and things like that. I think because they're like, well, Indy's not that big. Correct. But Indy has this rich history where all the guys that cover the league right now really loved being around that team when Peyton Manning was a quarterback and loved them some Chris Ballard. And a lot of that, I think, reflects in the way that they think and talk.
So if VY would have hit, we wouldn't be having this discussion.
Because there was a continued legacy.
There was a huge drop-off where they became not just mediocre but irrelevant for such a long time that now – you kind of see them like you see the Arizona Cardinals. When they do well, it's just, all right.
Wow.
Waiting for them to fall, not waiting for them to stay. You know what I'm saying?
Because, again, Delaney's point hits harder now. We'll get more into that.
Coach Mack,
so, yeah.
Other side. JMart and Ramon, 104.5 The Zone.
It's Christmas week, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, has a gift that'll certainly put you in the holiday spirit. New customers can bet just $5 on any NBA team and win $150 in free bets if they are victorious. It is a great way to put some extra jingle in your pocket. I like that little spin-off right there. All DraftKings Sportsbook customers can also get in on the Christmas spirit with the holiday free bet surprise. Everyone would get a free bet up to $50 instantly, as DraftKings gives away up to $10 million in prizes. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. And the best thing about that is you can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want to. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code WGFX. Bet just $5 on any NBA team and win $150 in free bets if that team is victorious. The promo code that you have to use is WGFX this Christmas week at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. And you must be 21 years or older and present in Tennessee to bet. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. And if you're someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
JMart and Ramon, 104.5 The Zone. Gerardo and Amarillo, I said I'd get to him at the top of the hour, and we didn't. And he sent me a tweet, not thrilled with that. I said, call back. We'd take you before Mac, but you haven't called back now.
Yeah, Gerardo ain't feeling that, Jay.
Call in the final segment. We'll slide you in before the keys to the game.
I'm not walking.
We can't always get to them the way we want to, and sometimes we get derailed.
Eesh.
Live radio can get kind of
sticky,
messy. If it, Jack.
Let's
go to the Marksman Real Estate Hotline, where thanks to Farm Bureau Health Plans, who've been protecting Tennesseans since 1947, we have Coach Dave McGinnis of Titans Radio. Coach Mac, how are you?
JMart, good morning. Merry Christmas to you, Ramon, and Shafe. Everything's good. Don't keep my man in Amarillo, Texas, waiting too long. He's probably at Big Tex Steakhouse there on the interstate, waiting to get on the radio.
Yeah, well, again, Gerardo, if you're listening, Coach Mac just said it. We will get to your phone call. I promise you. Coach, I said this to Teresa Walker, and I've said this on social media and all morning long. Basically, this is the game the Titans always seem to find a way to win. This is the one where if you're looking at the talking heads on TV and paying attention to the noise is all going in one direction. Mike Vrabel seems to have his team somehow ready to play these games when maybe the interest level is a little bit down on his football team. Agree or disagree?
Well, I mean, I think it's just a matter. I mean, I think they're always ready to play. I mean, to me, I mean, they're ready to play. They have to perform. You know, the last month, I mean, the reason for the losses is very evident. I mean, they've had 13 turnovers, and you're not going to win doing that. And that's not being ready to play. It's just performing in the moment. So, you know, I agree with you on this. This team will be ready to perform, but it's not a matter to me of being ready. I mean, when the game starts, and you just got to do the things fundamentally.
Yeah.
Let's just start with this. In a game that you have to do to win, you can't do those things. It doesn't really matter what two teams are playing. When you have one team that turns the ball over much more than the other team, that team has given themselves not a lot of chance. And so, to me, ready to play has never been an issue with Mike Vrabel's teams at all. I agree with you on that.
So with, you know, the turnovers, Coach, like that's one of the things from middle school, high school, college, NFL is trying to control the ball. Well, coaches always tell you carry that ball with all our hopes and dreams, Coach. As far as just emphasizing it in practice, what other ways can you get that point across to kind of execute it on game day?
Well, to me, it's so fundamental.
Yeah.
And, you know, as far as drills, Ramon, I've watched them since training camp. They work on that every day, you know, punching it out, stripping, and even when they're going offense against defense, they're always having the defense strip at it so that you have to hold on to it a long time. I mean, all of that stuff's been done, but in the ball game, you've got to hold it. I mean, that's, to me, it's so fundamental, but it's also so critical. Look, when you're turning the ball over, the fact of the matter is you have the football. And then for some reason you are turning it over or giving it to the other team. Now, you know, defensively, it's not turning it over, it's taking it away. You know, you're trying to take it away. So you can go through every one of the 13 that we have had, and there are reasons for all of them, but ball security, that to me, it should be one of the most fundamental things going, and especially in the National Football League for this reason. And you know this, JMart knows this, defenses in the National Football League are constantly raking, punching, chainsawing, doing everything they can to get it out. So that's even more, those 5 points of contact have to be there. And that's what's so disappointing about it, because it's such a fundamental, have to have skill at any level, but especially this level.
You know, there's one guy in particular, Josh Norman, Coach. He's got 6 forced fumbles on the year. So a guy might make a play on him or down the field on one of his teammates, but the ability to be able to get the ball out at the rate that he has this year, I don't know if there's many DBs that's able to do that, Coach. And just talk about the importance for the receivers, not just running backs or the quarterback on the sack fumble, but receivers got to be very cautious this week with him out there.
Yeah, you know, it reminds me a lot of, remember the couple of seasons that Peanut Tillman up there in Chicago started?
Yeah.
I mean, where he was punching it out, and he was doing all of them. He was club, punch, chainsaw. He was getting them out of there on regularity. And you're right. I mean, if somebody has and especially if somebody has a propensity to do it, you've got to get high and tight with that ball, especially when you get into a crowd. And the other thing is the National Football League, defensive players close so quickly that you've got to understand that when you have that ball's drawing a lot of people to you, a lot of people at a really high rate of speed. And I just, turning the football over is that right there, that and explosive plays are the two things that really flip games. But turnovers even more so, because it's not only giving the ball to your opponent, it's killing momentum, it's flipping field position, and it's also taking scoring opportunities away from your team. There's a lot of bad things that happen when you turn it over, and we've witnessed it in the last month here.
Coach, also we know, the offensive line's shorthanded tonight, and you got to go with who you got to go with. But as you've been evaluating, watching tape this week and preparing, what is the challenge in front of the Titans in terms of the pass rush and in terms of this San Francisco defense?
Well, JMart, when I watch tape on an opponent, I take all the emotion out of it. I just watch the tape to fundamentally see what's happening. And this is one of the more complete football teams that the Titans have played, to this point. Even last week, and not to disparage anything going on, with Pittsburgh, they're not a complete team right now at all.
No.
This football team that Kyle Shanahan has is a complete football team. And you talk about the challenge for this offensive football team, the first thing is going to be protection, because they can bring it a lot of different ways. But with four people, they've got two guys that are really dominant at what they do in Bosa and Armstead. I mean, those guys themselves can cause, a lot of problems. And Ramon just talked about, Josh Norman being able to take the ball away. But up front, it's going to start with protection. And, you've got your starting left side not going to play the game. But look, that's life in the National Football League. Mm-hmm. We've dealt with it this season more than anybody has ever dealt with it in the history of the National Football League. But guess who cares? Nobody. Okay, nobody cares. You just got to get the job done. So, but protection, JMart, against this group, because this is a very accomplished group up front defensively, when you just start grinding tape and dig in and see what they do on a consistent basis. I'm not talking about just one guy getting hot one game and maybe has, being able to get to the quarterback. They can get to the quarterback if you're throwing it. And if you're running the football, you're going to have to get a hat up there on Fred Warner at that second level. You've got to get a hat on that dude, or he's going to make a lot of tackles for short gains that would have a chance, if one guy were blocked, to go for more. So it's a big challenge up front for this team, just because defensively they're a solid team.
Now, Coach, we did our scout meeting yesterday in preparation for this game. And, we talked through their personnel. And I'll be honest with you, Coach, when y'all coaches get at the front of that building at the front of that room, and you got that laser pointer and that screen is telling us how great these guys are, and we look at the coaches like, man, they got to still play us. That's got to be the mentality tonight when you're facing an Eric Armstead and a Nick Bosa, and not only just him, but Fred Warner. Like, they still got to play the game.
Well, it's always the way it is, right?
Yep.
I mean, I've made a lot of those presentations on Wednesday, and what you do is you just point out, look, this guy here has got the ability to make you look not real good if you don't look real good. Mm-hmm. But you also have the ability to make this guy look not real good. But you got to be honest about it. It's like two boxers going in. I mean, they can talk all they want, about each other, but when they really get down to it, their corner men know that they each have a chance to really do some damage to the other one. You've got to put it out there. And then the other thing is that's so important. Ramon, you did this. I mean, when you have an uncommon opponent, you haven't played, these two clubs haven't played in 4 seasons, you've got to really study the guy that you're going to be playing against for the most part, because you just don't know that person. You know your division guys. You play them twice a year. You know guys in their conference because you're going to get the rotation on them. But like this, you really need to dig down and study these players. But, yeah, you've always got to have confidence that you are going to win the one-on-one matchups. That's what being a professional player is about.
Mm-hmm. Coach Shanahan loves some pre-snap motion. That dude has all sorts of things happening to try to confuse the defense and give him – I mean, he as an offensive mind, he's a stud. We all know this. What makes them so difficult to deal with if you're the Titans defense?
Yeah, JMart, you bring up a great point. And when you look at it, first of all, I mean, he learned to me from one of the best in his father, you know.
Yeah.
And Mike was always one of the best, especially, you know, when he got to Denver, about being able to, you know, you heard me talk before about layering offenses. Well, there's another aspect to layering offenses, and the next aspect is calling the game and sequencing calls.
Yeah.
Okay. And when you start to sequence calls, here's what I mean by that. When you layer an offense, you're always adding a layer to a look that you're giving people. And then sequencing is being able to call it in sequence depending on what the defense is doing to you. And what Mike Shanahan was so good at and what Kyle Shanahan has gotten good at, first of all, they do a lot of their stuff out of 21 personnel with a true fullback in a lot of different looks, which is different than most people, you know, in this league. All right. And they're very creative. But let me just say this. This run game is the most diverse run game in the National Football League because of this. They'll run the inside and outside zone, which, you know, comes from Mike Shanahan. But they also run pin and pull. They run pin and pull with a near guard. They run pin and pull with the off guard, all right? But they also run misdirection. In other words, pulling two back across, away from flow, across the center. All right, they will do that, and then they run 21 personnel where they can line up in a knife formation and really just come at you downhill. So they run every aspect, but they blend it all together, and they start sequencing those calls, seeing how you're going to adjust not only to the fold of the offense. In other words, when I say fold of the offense, I mean the type of scheme they're going to run, but they want to see how you're going to adjust to their personnel. That, as you mentioned, JMart, they're putting in motion. There's a lot of eye candy going on with this offense before it finally gets down to hitting you in the face. And so they put a lot of pressure on the eye discipline of second and third level players. Your down linemen, you know, you've got your gap responsibilities and you've got your gap reads and you've got your down, you know, look inside reads. You've got all those things that go on. But I'm talking about the eye discipline that has to take place at your second and third level, or you're going to be a man short when they start to insert to create another gap. It's a very diverse run scheme. And so that's why they're so successful. Plus, you know, they put different, but Deebo Samuel's the problem.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a big problem. Deebo Samuel and George Kittle, and, you know, they're problems. And they're not only problems, you know, because when they have the ball in their hand, but they also do a lot of things to attract your attention away from where the ball is going. So when you start watching it, you know, and, as a lifetime defensive coach in this league, I start looking at that going, that's going to take some time to work on. That's going to take some eye discipline for that backside backer. That's going to take a little bit of communication across the front. All of those things I see when I look at this offense.
One aspect of their offense that they use, and he is dynamic, a use check. Is he a situation where the ball goes where he goes? And not only that, Coach, but his ability to catch at his position, you don't see that much anymore in the NFL. With the fullback being this involved in the offense.
No, that's why I say, Ramon, 21 personnel, you know, the way it was engendered and started was a true fullback and a running back.
Yeah.
Okay. And with a tight end. And so that's what they do. And they do not only play action out of that, but this fullback can do a lot of the split zone. He can do a lot of what we call wind back lead, you know, where they'll start one way and wind back the other.
Yeah.
And so, yes, I mean, it's extremely important. Most of the times, Ramon, just to boil it down as to what you asking, does the ball go where he goes? If you're a heavy 21 personnel team, most of your blocking schemes incorporate the fullback, you know, taking you to the ball. Now, he can take you to the ball on a split look, but you've got to be able to jump gaps. I mean, we're getting into some technical football here, but if you got a split look, you can't have every linebacker follow the fullback. with a split look. And so it gets into pretty deep. You know, I spent my whole life doing this, but for him, he is a little bit of an anomaly in today's National Football League. And the fact they still use a real true 21 personnel with a viable runner and a pass catcher as a true fullback.
I love when you go Mac talk, by the way.
Yeah, it's always good. You just kind of sit there and sit underneath the learning tree.
Yeah, you do.
With Coach Mac. Coach, what do you anticipate from the pass game tonight, assuming, and it's a big assumption, that Ryan Tannehill has time in the pocket to throw, getting A.J. back, we think, and Julio being out there? What do you expect?
Well, I mean, I don't know, you know, whether either one of those are going to be back, whether they are or not. Who's ever out there, they have to get open. See, the thing that I expect, every time they get out there, I expect this passing game. I mean, they've completed passes, you know, in the last month, but a lot of times they haven't had time to get the ball off once, or the receiver is not clearing the break point in time, okay, or when they catch it, they're turning it back over to the defense. All right. So the pass game to me is structurally fine. It's just they just have to be able to complete the process. That's what I expect. Now, whether Julio plays, whether AJ plays, I mean, we'll all know it. What time does the game start? 7:30. We'll all know at 6 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
They got 90 minutes. They got to declare it. So we'll all know it. We'll all know it then. But the structure of this pass game is fine. It's just the completion of the pass game that has been an issue the last month.
Sure. Coach, well, we're looking forward to listening to the game tonight. Merry Christmas to you. We look forward to talking to you after the holidays and hopefully talking to you after a Titans victory.
Yeah, we did. The Titans need this victory bad, guys. It's gotten to that point of the season. But always enjoy being on with you guys. See you.
Appreciate it. That is Coach Mac. So I cut him short quickly because Gerardo and Amarillo is on line one. Gerardo, go ahead.
Oh, hold on. Now you're going to have to wait for me. Let me take y'all Bluetooth. Hold on, bro. All right, man. Hey, I get it, man. It's the ebb and flows of the show. It kind of derails every now and then. I'm not tripping, but you said, Jay, Gerardo, top of the hour. So I was like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna pause my route. Let me pull over to the side, make sure I'm audible enough so they can hear me. I'll wait 30 minutes, and I'm like, okay, maybe they'll get to me. It's like, nah, JMart, come on, brother.
That is a demerit.
Sorry.
Gerard.
Hey, let me get back in the holiday spirit. I'm not gonna.
Bring it in, Gerardo. Here we go.
Hey, no, but hopefully I can hear me. I got terrible signal.
You're real clear.
You're good.
Okay, awesome, bro. So, two quick things. A quick shout out to the Queen, man. The HOF for Miss Teresa Walker, dude. I always look forward to whenever she comes on our segment because that lady is far beyond X's and O's, and there's a reason why Braves always goes to her first in the competition. She's like,
agreed.
She's the GOAT, man. I love her input. She's like the female version of Coach Mac. But anyways, I don't know what goes into, as far as the snub deal goes, what goes into O-line numbers or statistics, but I try and pay attention as much as I can in the trenches. Dude, I feel like Ben Jones gets no love. I know the sack numbers have been not desirable this year for Ryan, but he's so consistent, man. He's such a rock for that line.
Yeah.
And if, granted, he did have that one miscue recently, but that's a once in a blue moon deal. It just, the fact that he never gets mentioned, it's a positive because, you know, that's the only time the O-line gets mentioned whenever something goes bad. But dude gets no love, man. What goes into an O-line, specifically a center, getting into the Pro Bowl? Because I feel like that dude deserves his roses right now because he battles through so many injuries. You talk about, you know, all these players battling like AJ, you know, going through what he's going through. But Ben somehow always manages to get on the field, dude. And he's I think statistically he's definitely leading the league in runner-up celebrations. Every time we score, dude, he's right there with the little mini finger roll, which I don't know how I feel about him jumping like that. But, you know, I'm like, dude, this guy needs to be in the Pro Bowl, man. But anyways, love you guys, man.
Appreciate
Merry Christmas, happy holidays. And, don't put a guy in Amarillo on hold that's waiting on a big Texan line like Coach Mac said next time. All right, brother?
All right, Gerardo. You will never get on this show again.
That was an awesome call, Gerardo.
You go to the front of the line, Gerardo.
To his point, I can't front. That was a struggle in my career, Gerardo, like knowing you deserve. In 2018, I was second in overall voting and didn't give up a sack. Had one penalty that year. And it's just how it goes. Unless you're a first rounder that comes in with a little bit of praise, unless you're on a real streaky team like what was it, Worths, and with the Bucks last year, and you got Tom Brady vouching for you. It's hard for a new offensive lineman to break into that Pro Bowl voting. You hope you get your flowers when it comes down to All Pro, but looking at this group right now, tell me what's common in all of this. Rashawn Slater, first rounder. Yep. Orlando Brown, second round, but plays on a hot team in Kansas City. Deion Dawkins, I think first or second rounder. Quentin Nelson, he is who he is. Joel Bitonio, I think he was a second or third rounder. Broke off. Wyatt Teller, same thing. Got broke off big time recently, so you know his name. Corey Linsley and Ron Kelly. They're names that are attached to high draft picks or high dollars. And there's a bunch of guys that deserve to be in there. And the system is flawed, or either they need to get more picks, in which they can't really do that because it's supposed to be exclusive. Gerardo, I feel you. I feel Ben Jones's. It's just, unless you got Tom vouching for you, or Aaron, or a number of other high-profile quarterbacks, we're just dudes that just got to continue to grunt and grind it out.
Sometimes.
That's just it. Ain't nobody going to feel sorry for you, because I'm sure right now Corey Linsley and his teammates are celebrating in L.A. because of this. And then what's wild, you'll meet a bunch of players that you've played against that respect the hell out of you. Dog, I love your game, or I hated playing against you. You know how many times I've heard that? And that's, at the end of the day, Ben Jones got respect amongst a bunch of people in this league. And that's going to be his Pro Bowl.
I'm sure he does. What you're saying is important, but you would love to see the public know a little bit more about what you've done and what you've accomplished and the respect that you have in the league. Sometimes you don't. And truth be told, fans, I challenge you. Figure out who's the new young star. Because it's easy for y'all to go on those ballots. Yeah, I know him. There's a bunch of, like, Roger Saffold not having a Pro Bowl. Come on now. Like, it's good. It's a very, very good point. Guys, you just look at other positions, like Christian Fulton or somebody like that. Start paying attention to names like that real quick.
Dog.
I know you guys, I know Titans fans understand Christian Fulton's really good. But a lot of people around the country don't know who that is.
They don't.
Which sucks, because there's a lot of guys in the league that slip through the cracks that are outstanding players just because, for whatever reason, the machine's not behind it. Early enough.
Apparently Trevor Lawrence didn't either until Christian keep beating him up.
Well, yeah, that's true too.
So according to Jay Feely. When we come back, Toyota keys to the game, and Macho Man Todd Titan will get you all hyped up for Titans Niners. We'll finish up the program next. JMart and Ramon, 104.5 The Zone. Check out the adventurous new Toyota RAV4 at your Toyota dealer. With new vehicles arriving daily, street-savvy, off-road capable, the RAV4 redefining what a compact SUV can be. For all Toyota offers, go to buyatoyota.com. It's JMart and Ramon. We'll do it again tomorrow on Christmas Eve. We will be live so that you can react to whatever happens tonight on Thursday Night Football, which, of course, you will hear tonight on Titans Radio. 104.5 is on Titans hosting the 49ers. Keys to the game, Moan, I would say number one is make sure 17 still plays for your football team next week by doing your best, maybe in some cases to play above yourself on that offensive line, because there's some guys that are going to be called into action tonight that you just don't expect to be able to handle what's coming at them.
Yeah, and to that point, I did expect Kendall Lamb to have a bigger part this year, and he's had hardly any. I at least expected extra tight end or something, and now he gets to start in place of everything. And I'll say this, with some starters being out, every time this has been the case, the boys have stepped up. So, protect 17 at all costs, because if you think you're missing players now, imagine missing your franchise quarterback. My second key to this game is make it fast, quick, ground game. You've still been doing a really good job of rushing the ball. Do that well. Offense, you got to support the defense a whole lot more in this week. It's necessary. Short week, you got to be on top of your game tonight, and the run game must be a premium for the Tennessee Titans.
Back into the defense. Do not just let Deebo Samuel and George Kittle run wild tonight.
Yeah.
Find a way to stop the yak machines.
Yep.
Don't let Ayuk and Kittle and Samuel go for 30 yards after the catch. You got to be sure tacklers.
Yep.
You got to be physical on the second level tonight to have the shot that you need to have. Because offense, I don't think anybody sees offense putting up 30 points tonight.
No.
So that to me is it. Make sure Tannehill is all right, as you just said. Run the ball. Don't make mistakes. And then keep everything in front of you defensively on the second level, because those guys can run wild over you if you allow them to.
Yeah, buddy.
So there's your Toyota keys to the game. Buck Rising is on the way next. He will continue our preview on game day. We send you off the way we like with the Macho Man, Todd Titan. We'll see you in the morning.
Oh, yeah! Happy holidays and Merry Christmas to everyone listening on the radio waves and watching through the video scope, yeah. But first things first, short wait, short memory, yeah. Titans, 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 that's all I'm going to say right now, yeah, because Sunday we gave away the last of our Christmas presents, yeah. Pittsburgh got the last of them. So this tonight, Thursday night, yeah, primetime football, we're going to be doing the taking, yeah. Candy canes dangling from a tree, just like the San Francisco 49ers playoff dreams. Yeah, we're going to take them and we're going to smash them, because San Francisco, Santa Claus is not coming down the chimney this year. It's going to be Big Jeffrey Simmons and the rest of the front four, yeah. And they're not bringing a sack full of toys. They're bringing just sacks, yeah. Jimmy G, when you're laying on your back looking up at the stars, you better find the North Star and follow it all the way back to San Francisco with a loss, because tonight Nissan Stadium's going to be rocking. The foundation's going to shake, yeah, and you're going to take the top rope elbow. It's time to tighten up. Big hit.